This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome everyone! We are watching two beautiful giraffes, South African giraffes, heading off into the distance, just feeding away another lovely afternoon, and this is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
Five, four, three, two, one. You are live, you are live.
Hello everyone and welcome to another wonderful afternoon out here in the African bush. It is very strange weather, very windy and not as hot as I thought despite the million layers of sunscreen that I wore today. And we are watching some beautiful giraffes that decided to just grace us with their presence. This is a live and interactive show, so if you've got any questions or if you just want to say hello, we would love to hear from you. So you can use the YouTube channel or chat or use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Now, where are you giraffes? Let's have a look at this giraffes because I haven't seen a giraffe in quite a while, so I'm quite excited to see them. Initially, we thought it was just this big one to the right, but seems like there's another one all the way in the distance. Judging by the size, I would say probably it's offspring because it's still a tiny giraffe, although already bigger than me. But I think it's safe to say that they're also having a wonderful afternoon, just munching away on the green shoots and all the green leaves of everything that they can find. Although you might actually be feeding on some flowers. Let's have a closer look. It does seem like it's just feeding on the new shoots of the tree. Seems to be eating some bush willows. Maybe that's what's on the menu, and those very big sharp thorns is not what she's eating, although not that would deter a giraffe too much from feeding upon them. And they are being very clever creatures. They're going away from where the lions were seeing this morning. There was a nice big pride of lions that apparently is resting not too far from where we are, and these giraffes are heading first of all down towards the drainage line, so where there's a bit of a dip, and you see there's a bit more greenery down there. So I'm sure they're after much yummier food than what there is up here. That it's probably some very, very dry and dusty leaves, and going all the way down there and heading away from the lions. So dual purpose in all of their walkabouts, although they're becoming a little bit difficult to see. I hear a lot of people are saying or are welcoming me back. Thank you very much to everyone. I am super excited to be here. I was actually even early for drive today and Lou couldn't stop making fun of me, but I don't care. I'm so excited to be back. All right, I think we're gonna leave these giraffes and carry on. Oh, I'm sorry, Lou has not finished making fun of me yet. Lou, be nice, it's my first drive back. I think we are going to head off just to do some bit of admin that we have to do. We have to go to Treehouse Dam to put a beautiful GoPro for about 10 seconds. And then we'll do that and probably head off to see if we can see maybe Hosanna somewhere around Twin Dams, because I believe there were some tracks or some indications of him somewhere around there. And then obviously I would love to go and see the Styx Pride because I haven't seen them in ages. I think it's been at least a few months since the last time that I saw them. And obviously I want to go just meet up with everyone, see how everyone's been doing. So all of the cats, all of the animals of Djuma, come. I want to say hello to all of you. I'm sure it's going to be quite exciting. Now, there was somebody calling me on the radio and I was quite rude. So while I say hello to everyone on the radio and just give a general update, let's go over to my friend Jamie that is in the Mara, and I believe she's looking at another beautiful, stunning creature that lives all the way up there. The beautiful zebras.
A very good afternoon to all of you and welcome to the Sunset Safari. It is so wonderful to hear that Ali is back and driving on Djuma once again. We miss her terribly. But it's lovely that we're going to be hearing her voice all the way from Djuma here in the Mara. My name is Jamie. This afternoon, Fergus is on camera with me. And as I said, we are live from the Maasai Mara here in Kenya. So you get a treat from South Africa to Kenya, a live drive where you can send through your questions on hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Now, true to form, because this is live and because it is wildlife, a moment ago all of those zebras that were gathered together were drinking from the waterhole. And of course, as you came across to us, they decided to not drink anymore. There's more making their way up to the top, but they seem to have stopped. But it was always interesting to me when we watch zebra drink in waterholes like this one, is the way that they go charging right in without a care or thought about the potential for crocodiles that might be lurking there. They obviously know where it's safe and where it isn't. So when they go and drink, they don't even go and drink at the water's edge. They march right into the middle and quench their thirst there. So while the migration may be gone, largely gone, the zebra herds are still, I would say, more numerous than when I first arrived. So at least the zebra are still keeping us company. The plans for the afternoon? There are no plans from my side. We'll probably go to the Sausage Tree Pride, catch up with them, or the supposed Sausage Tree Pride. I confess to being a little bit confused. But we were with them this morning on the sunrise safari. A group of lions, a pride of lions, with some lionesses and 2 young males on a buffalo kill. So we'll head in that direction, go and see what they're up to. And then, well, we'll take it from there, shall we? Let's see what wonders the Mara has to offer. Swishing tails, getting rid of all of the flies. You know what, I asked a question this morning, and to be honest, I haven't had 1 second today to actually research it, about why giraffe have manes. And I've never thought about it before. Now I'm questioning why zebra have manes as well, since they've got just essentially a little ridge on the tops of their backs of their necks. I wonder if there is any purpose to it. I don't know if anybody has any suggestions, but I'd really be interested in hearing about it, because at the moment we don't have much time to spare. Can you think of a purpose? I mean, it looks lovely, don't get me wrong. Hey, little one. Just one youngster in this herd. Ah, here we go. I wanted to wait and just sit patiently to see if the rest of the zebra are going to come and have a drink. And they do seem to be. Okay, it's not just myself out here, and in fact, if Brent hadn't made it out this afternoon, it was going to be an all-girl drive. And the third lady, of course, is the wonderful Taylor.
Well, Brent's hair is almost long enough. No, I'm just teasing. I'm going to be in so much trouble for saying that now. He's going to have my ponytail. Anyways, my name is Taylor, and on camera with me is Manu. And hopefully, we're going to find all sorts of cats today. I would like to see a leopard, please. I don't know how all of you feel about that, but I think it would be quite nice to change up the cat variety of, or maybe even a serval. That would be nice. But this is live, this is happening right now, and maybe it's your first time watching. That's very exciting. You can ask us questions, hashtag Safari Live, and you can also chat to us via the YouTube chat. Now, we're bouncing about over some of these grassy tracks because we're heading right down to the tree line, which is very far away, that side, towards the Mara River. And we're going to go all the way along it and snake until we get towards, hopefully, the cul-de-sac crossing, where we're then going to watch elephants cross the river, and everyone's going to clap and cheer. Some of us may shed tears, you know, however you take the moment in. We've got a rogue battery. It was rattling. I was trying to make an escape. Hi, zebra. Sorry. Can I give this to you, Manu, before I lose it? Oh, funny story very quickly, because I know how you all love my stories. We're sitting here, and Manu and I start going, what is that noise? And we hear this buzzing and a click and a buzz and a click, and I thought, is it mechanical? Is it got something to do with the electrics? What's going on? Didn't have any idea. Just deciding what we're going to do. Let's go, let's do this one. So Manu's like, we're going to have to do stationary segments, we can hear it in your mic. And I was like, oh no, this is a disaster. So I start sending it to Jamie, because Jamie's a mechanical genius. She is incredible when it comes to vehicles. Well, she's incredible for many things, but she has a super talent of being really good at mechanics. So I thought, well, she'll be able to help us. and then died of embarrassment when Manu stood up and realized it was the windscreen wiper. We obviously don't have the blades to go with the little motors. And it was squeaking away. Very embarrassing. But so that's what's happened to us this afternoon. It's going to be a great drive. It took us so long to figure it out as well. That's the worst part about it. Now I feel like I'm just going back the other way. Maybe we'll find a road going to the left. We just want to go there. That's the great thing about this area, is that you can't actually get lost. At night you can. Anybody can get lost at night. But during the day, it's quite easy to navigate. You just jump on a road and then get an idea as to where it's going to take you. Every now and then you get a sneaky one that double winds around. But that's all. I'm really worried that we've lost comms and we're not live anymore. And I've just been going on, no, Kev, I'm not, I am live. I always fear that I've gone on and on and on with these stories and no one is even listening to me anymore. Right, and I'm so happy my dear friend Ali is back. How cool is that? I haven't seen her for like a very long time. Anyways, let's jump onto Ali's vehicle, and I'm sure she's very excited to be back in the sands again. I wonder if any of Tristan's luck has rubbed back onto her.
Well, I also miss Taylor very much, and I do hope that some of Tristan's luck has rubbed up, because it seems like he's been very blessed by the universe lately in terms of spots and whiskers and cats and dogs and just sightings in general. Every time I've logged into to watch the drives, I'm just like, but how? How does he get them all? So I'm sure though that he's earned a well-deserved rest for the afternoon, although I don't think he's quite fidgety. I think it's gotten to the point where everything has been just so good that he's just like, oh, but I want to be out there too. So hopefully some of his good luck has rubbed off. We are heading now towards Twin Dams just to see if perhaps Hosanna is there, because I've missed all of the leopards quite a bit, so I want to see how they're all doing, and then of course all of the lions, see what they've been up to and how they're looking and everything else. And of course cannot wait to see some of the elephants, and who knows, maybe we'll even get lucky with the return of the buffalo, the very elusive buffalo. I must say though, this area, it's funny because when you leave for quite a while a certain area and then you come back, it hasn't been that long. I think maybe I've been gone for about 6 weeks or maybe 8, somewhere around there. Everything is definitely looking a lot drier, and I was just saying to Senza, like, I feel like I can see further in. So obviously the winter, or the last bit of winter, has been taking its toll and everything, but the temperature is definitely much nicer. I am for one not wearing about 5 million jerseys on one drive, which is very good. It's a very unusual sensation. I almost forgot what that was like, but it's still looking quite well. I mean, I've been to certain areas, other reserves, very well-known reserves, that are looking much drier than this. Are actually, it's funny because this year they look almost like the drought looked like in this area last year, but now this is a year after a certain good rainfall. So it'll be interesting to see how those reserves fare, because even roughly in the same ecosystem, in the same area, there's quite a bit of difference of the rainfall and how everything has been going on. So there's still a lot of food for some of the animals. I promise you, I've been to certain areas where I'm like, but what do they eat? There's just dead trees everywhere. Like, how do they survive? And yet, well, obviously you see very happy lions eating giraffes, and then you see the ellies that survive and everything else. I did not see buffalo though, and the buffaloes were not too happy with life. And then of course other creatures here and there. So I can almost see Twin Dams in the distance. I think Sensa was a bit worried, and he just said, maybe you just need to drive a little bit more. As it seems like I've forgotten some of the roads. Nikki, you're wondering if I kicked Pooji out the car. I wouldn't dare. I think Tristan would not be too impressed. Pooji is here, actually. Pooji, say hello to everyone. And we're finally reunited, you and I, little Pooji, but I'm just afraid that I'm gonna lose him, because I don't know how Tristan used to work it out or where he put it, because I've seen it on the steering wheel, but I don't know if he's been holding it. So Pooji has been going on here with me on drive, so you can just see the bottom 2 eyes at the corner there. So don't you worry, Pooji's right here with us. And it was quite funny. Actually, Pooji was a gift from one of my aunts, and she thought she was being funny, and she was like, oh, there you go, this is a nice gift for you. And then today she phoned me and she's just like, who is Pooji? Like, is that the little thing that I gave you? Little you know exactly, like Lou says, that Pooji was gonna become an entity in itself. But yes, Pooji is our little mascot. Alright, seems like Taylor has also been finding some of the same things that we see down here, which is quite nice to find all the similarities. So maybe let's go over to her and see what species of giraffe she's got all the way up there. Also heading to a drainage line while we try to find little Hosanna.
Are you all ready to play a little game? How does that sound? We haven't played a game in a very long time. Now, we've been exploring the Mara for quite some time, some of us longer than others, but I think that this landmark has been in this spot for long enough now for some of you who watch every single day to try and guess, whereabouts am I in the Mara? Is it too difficult? I don't think so. I think that you can all do it. So we will show you the entire scene, and then maybe that will help you, but I'm not going to tell you where I am. And you can give as many names as you've heard us call this specific place. You can just hashtag Safari Live or mention it on the YouTube chat. There we go. So where are we? Where in the Mara Triangle am I? I look forward to trying to guess. There's lots and lots of giraffe here, except there's a car that would obviously like to pass me, I presume by the dust that it is creating behind this vehicle, that it wants to go past. So I don't know if there's space. Let me just quickly reposition. I'll go off to the left and then they can go past me. There we go. I always do that. That's one thing that I forget about since I've been here, is that you really have to, you know, make room. And I'm so used to, you know, Djuma having pretty much the entire property to yourself some days, and it's so great. But this is wonderful too. I mean, you can't really compare the two. They've both got their pros. Like now, the pro here in the triangle is that we've got giraffe. And you know what? I think we've seen these giraffe before, or this particular group, or at least these two males on the left of us that are necking one another. Sorry, Alice. Didn't quite catch the name. No, okay, Bree, sorry, I missed that now. You want to know, well, you've guessed. Is that a crater in the ground or is it the riverbank? It is a riverbank, but that's not too specific enough. It's, okay, I'm going to give you one clue. It's basically got a man-made name. Man-made thing. Oh my god, that's going to be disastrous. Oh, this. I think this might be a little bit too difficult. I don't know if everybody knows the Mara too well just yet. We'll see. Are there any other answers coming through, Alice? Think of man-made items. There's one thing that we say often. It's also close to the escarpment and the forest and Ngama Mara. Maybe those clues will help. But I'll let you think a little bit longer, because this is a tricky one. But I think this could be quite a fun game to play. Anyways, Brent is up and running, and he's going to surprise you all. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, so let's just go and have a look.
Well, welcome, and it is my two favorite girls, and they are very fat and very happy. They've killed a female reedbuck by the looks of things, and have managed to keep it. It hasn't been stolen by hyenas or lions, which there are plenty in this area. My name is Brent Leo Smith. I have the Batman on camera, and we're with Amani's daughters, and they have eaten the majority of this reedbuck, and it's nice to see a cheetah with a fat belly. We've been seeing lots of skinny cheetahs recently, but these two are truly well fed. Remember, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter if you've got any questions for us. Now, it's not often that a Mara cheetah gets to eat this much of such a big kill, especially two girls. And I know there's a very big hyena den very close to where we are. So they're very lucky that none of the hyenas have meandered past and charged in. And they're definitely making the most of this big meal. Can you believe even vultures are capable of chasing cheetah off a kill? And if there's enough vultures, they have been known to push, well, female cheetah off kills. So we're just to the west, to the east of the Maasai Marsh. We are on the edge of a little river system, that a name we know quite well. It's called the Billa Shaka River, or Laga, and that of course is where the 6 male lions that frequent this area get their name from. Okay, well, let's go look at the other female who's not scoffing down on meat, and you can see a properly fat cheetah belly. See, she's still, every now and then pops her head up, looks around, tries to make sure there's no hyenas around. Or lions. Lion being far more of a problem. Hyenas will steal their kill, but lions quite often will kill cheetah if they get the opportunity. They probably kill, they definitely probably are, they're not definitely, probably, they are the biggest threat to cheetah anywhere, and they do kill quite a lot of cheetah. Oh, hold on as we go up the big hill. Now, there we go. That is a proper fat belly. That is a happy cheetah. Oh, tired cheetah as well. Hi, Riti. Riti's wondering, do cheetah hunt together or alone? In a circumstance like this, where there are 2 together, they will hunt together. And as we've seen with the 5 males, they also hunt together. But if they're by themselves, they'll hunt by themselves. Remember, these 2 females are not going to stay together forever. They will eventually split, probably in the next couple of months, and become independent. Oh my goodness, there we go. She's up from the carcass. Look at how fat you are. Now, they are very elegant when they are skinny. They look a little bit funny when they have got these big, grotesque bellies. Look at it, it's wobbling from side to side as she walks. I think this is going to be a flop. Oh, yes. Down we flop. So I think these girls are going to be snoozing for the remainder of the night. They're probably not going to move too far away from this spot. And we're going to move on now, see what else we can find, see if we can find some hungry kitties somewhere about in the Mara. I did have a report of the 5 males, but it's quite far from here. So maybe let's see if we can do a meander that way, or maybe move down towards the river and see if the Billa Shaka male lions are there. But while we do that, let's send you across to Taylor, who's waiting to give you the answer to her quiz.
Well done, everybody. I'm very impressed. So there were a couple of you that guessed hippo pools. Good guess. Maybe we'll go past there and I'll show you hippo pools like properly. Maybe we would do a bit of tour today. Hopefully we find some cats though. And so good guess, because that is a name that we say quite regularly when we pass. But GT got it correct. You said something bridge. That was the closest answer we got there. The bridge part is right. The something I'm going to fill you in on. No, I've got to try and say it, and I'm so sorry in advance if I can't say it properly. Manu's not smiling. Manu, one more time. Sanguriai. Yes. Woo. It's a real, try and say that 10 times. I promise you it's a hard one for me to say. Anyway, so I was wondering, what does it mean as well? And basically it's a place, a no-go zone, and this is also because of the forest on either side. So, I don't know, they say that you can't go anywhere, basically, with the forests on either side. So that's what they call that bridge. We can call it the bridge, though, because I can understand how difficult it would be to try and say that all the time. but there's many bridges. So yeah, so that's quite cool. And then we'll maybe talk about all the other bridges that are in the area at some point. Maybe we'll save that for a rainy day. Anyways, we're going to keep plodding along towards the river line, which is just in view. Jamie has got a tower of something.
I've got really quite a lovely tower of a 3-bull giraffe, giving us the most fantastic demonstration of the way that giraffe fight with each other. Now in this case, all 3 of them are quite young. 2 of them are younger than the other, and this is quite slow motion, gentle practice. Basically, I suppose you could call it sparring between 3 young boys. But it is a really good demonstration of what we've been talking about over the last few drives whenever we bump into giraffe. The way in which the males fight with each other, why they have those ossicones, or one of the reasons why they have the ossicones on the tops of their heads, and how powerful their necks are. And that whole process. So swinging their heads round and smacking each other on the side or on the shoulder or on the neck is the way that giraffe compete for the right to mate with a female. They're not territorial, so it's not a territorial battle. It is purely when there is a situation where there is a lady involved, at least in this area. There we go. The tall guy in the front, my money's on him, although he seems to be the one who is most peaceful in this sighting. And what we might even see is an example of mock mounting, or what's termed mock mounting. And it's basically the animal's way of demonstrating dominance over the other. You often see it with young bull giraffe as they sort out their strength and dominance. There you go. I say it's gentle. You can still actually see the ripples of the impact when they do hit each other. I don't want to get too much closer just in case it stops them. There you go. You can actually see the ripple. Oh, Tula Ann, you say that you love giraffe and you're wondering, do they love people? I think it's possible for a giraffe to love people if it's been raised by hand. Yes, absolutely. Or certainly to feel a connection to people. Do I think that the wild giraffe love us? No, but I think we're about as much of their landscape as the termite mounds and the trees, which is somehow even better because it means that we can sit and watch them do this without interfering in their behavior in any way. So Tula Ann, you know you've got, I don't know if you've got a dog or a cat or any kind of a pet. Your pet will definitely love you. A dog will definitely love you, especially. But wild animals out here, I would say that we're something that is just part of their lives. I don't think they feel any sense of attachment. And one thing that's very important to remember is that you can't wild animals love. So you can't feed them and then expect them to really like you. They're still wild, and that makes them dangerous. And it's actually dangerous for them as well because they become dangerous to people and then people get cross with them. But Tula Ann, you're not alone. My mum also loves giraffe. Something very serene about their eyes. Now this could go on all day. Granny, you want to know... Oh, yep, there we go again. Granny, you want to know why it is that giraffe are endangered? Very similar in a lot of cases for most wildlife throughout the world, not just in Africa, and that is habitat loss. And then you've got bushmeat poaching. So people do eat giraffe and they do kill them for those purposes. And those are the main reasons. The habitat just gets smaller and smaller, and the giraffe become more restricted in where they can go. Networks of roads, tarred roads, all of these things are ultimately a threat to the giraffe population. And it's not something that gets as much attention as, say, and not that rhino poaching don't get it. That not that many people know just how drastically the number of giraffe in Africa are dropping. Oh, these boys. Some serious posturing going on. Trying to find the best ground. Oh, look how tall I am. Look, I'm taller than you. Much taller than you. You can really see them practicing their techniques. point. I suppose it's possible that the manes cushion a blow from necking, but really, if you watch where they go for, they tend to go for the shoulders and the neck, and rather than the back of the neck, which isn't quite as fragile. But I take your point. Most people have let me know, and I mean, really, the brain has stopped functioning somewhere along the line. But yes, manes, of course, on zebra used for flicking away insects and flies. That makes sense. I'm not sure how well a giraffe would be able to do it with that piddly mane, but sufficient perhaps to get to that hard-to-reach back of the neck area. This one's got a particularly fine mane. So Constance and many others saying again that they use their manes by shaking their heads, they get rid of bugs and flies and so on. It does make sense, and I suppose it makes sense for them not to have long manes that could potentially get caught in vegetation but have long tails, because that's where the flies and the ticks generally sit, is around the more delicate areas where the skin is soft. So yeah, I totally see that point. I think it's actually pretty self-explanatory now that I think about it. And Rocky, the bigger the mane, the more they impress others. I suppose that is also an aspect. Makes their necks look thicker, stronger, slightly more intimidating. Slightly less of an easy target. Hey, boys. Another really nice example, spoke about it this morning, about the fact that you can't exactly always say that a giraffe is dark because it's old. These two boys are roughly the same age, they're the same size, and you can see one on the left much lighter than the one on the right. So there is a genetic aspect to the coloration of a giraffe as well. I think they've decided that's enough sparring for one day. The battle has not been won by either one of them, any one of them. And it's time for some lunch. Right, let's head back over to Djuma to find out whether Ali the lion lady has had any luck.
Well, to be quite honest... Alright, sorry, there was just too many people talking in my ear. There are no lions around here, so it seems like maybe I was so eager to see them that they've just run off. And we did see some tracks around, so I'm not too sure. Senzo, is this where you were this morning? Yeah, it was around where they were this morning. So we also had some tracks around Weaver's Nest for the whole pride, so I don't know if maybe they've gone off that way. Alright, seems like the lovely lions have gone somewhere else. Doesn't really seem like they're anywhere around here. But I think we are still going to have just a bit of a look around, because often what will happen is, because it's been quite windy the last few hours, that they're going to carry on moving and maybe heading off to where it's nice and cool. Perhaps they've gone for a drink, maybe they've gone all the way down. So we'll have a bit of a look around, but I just want to wait for another vehicle to stop moving, and then we can just wangle our way in and just go and have a bit of a look around further in, and then we'll just have another look. Hopefully they'll be around there, because I would love to see them, and I'm sure everybody else would love to see them too, see how they're faring. But like I said, there's a vehicle in front of us, so it's making our movements a little bit difficult at the moment, because there's really only one way in. So we're just gonna wait a little bit. I haven't been bundu bashing for a bit, so let's see if I remember how to do this correctly. I'm sure it'll be quite fun. It could be that Senzo and I had tracks for the whole pride heading south, so it seemed like they almost came to Tria's Dam, they drank, and then they went south. But Tristan mentioned this morning that they had tracks everywhere, and it didn't really seem like the tracks were on top of our tracks. So who knows actually where these lions have gone, but let's go and have a bit of a look around. I would find it quite strange if they actually moved off all that much, but let's have a look. You never know. Hopefully they'll be here. I'm gonna give it to lions for making me work hard on the first day. Alright, I think we might just go around here. Seems quite nice and open here. Let's have a look. Alright, seems like while I look for these beautiful girls, another one of our Mara good friends has found another beautiful male lion. So why don't we go over to them and see which one it is, because those characters in the Mara are very interesting and I would love to see which one it is. Woo! Woo!
Some fat cats today. Now, this is one of the Billa Shaka boys, the one who is blind in his right eye. Well, his eyes are much closed at the moment, but when he does open them, you can see a slight opaque color in his right eye, and that means he is blind in that eye, or if not blind, he has very limited vision. So we've got 4 out of the 6 boys here. I'm not sure where the other 2 are, but they are looking like they ate a hippo. No, they're looking very, very full at the moment, so they're not going to be moving much, I don't think. So we've got one behind us, that guy off to the right, and then another 2 sleeping just over there. Hey, boys. And they are my favorite coalition of male lions, the Billa Shaka boys. I think they're going to be an incredible force to be reckoned with as they get older in the Mara. I wonder if they're going to head further south and put pressure on the Musketeers, Scar, and his coalition members. It's going to be a fascinating time over the next 6 months to a year. Maybe a little bit longer, maybe 2 years before they really come into their own. So the oldest is about 4, the youngest, or just under 4, and the youngest is about 2 years old. Now, Riti says, how did he become blind? I don't know, Riti. Could be lots of different things. Could have been even a stick in the eye, could have been spat in by a cobra. He could just have a genetic defect. It's impossible for us to know. Ever since we've seen them, he has been blind in that right eye, or has limited vision in his right eye. Okay, well, kitties, fat kitties, not hungry kitties, and I'm on a mission for hungry kitties today. So we're going to let them snooze away, and we've had a little bit of luck with the lions so far, and hopefully Ali back in South Africa is going to have the same luck with the Styx Pride.
Hopefully we will, although I think they have actually been moving around quite a bit during the day, which is fairly common in lions on days like today, because it was very hot throughout the day, but then the last few hours they've been quite windy and it's actually been quite a nice temperature. And the only source of water around is Treehouse Dam, so I'm sure they were headed there for a drink and likely they carried on. Because like I said, Senso spotted those tracks actually when we were driving earlier, and I sort of didn't want them to be true because they were heading south towards the fire break and our border with Little Gowrie as usual. So hopefully they stopped somewhere there, but I know there is another vehicle that's also checking. Like there's, my goodness, a lot of bundu bashing here. So I'm gonna try and get out of here. I see the road not too far away because I think this is probably the route that the lions walked. I'm sure they went for a drink at Treehouse Dam earlier on today, so it's worth it going around and checking around there, just seeing. Hopefully they will be around and they won't be too far away. Because, yep, it would be nice. But if they're not, then I'm sure we can carry on looking for other beautiful spotted cats and see what else it brings. Now I'm starting to feel the pressure. I know Tristan's had a very wonderful cat streak, so if I don't live up to the expectation, I don't think he'll be too happy. Maybe I'll be on the couch because I can't find a lion. No, I'm sure it'll be fine. Just need to get to the road, actually, and get out of here. Whoop. All right. Whoop. Did not see that one. All right. I'm sorry, Rusty. It's been tough on both of us this drive. All right, here we are. And there's another big stump around here. Don't really want to go breaking cars on the first day back. And off we go once more onto the main road. Ah, hello. Reggie, you're wondering what bundu bashing is. Well, bundu bashing is the way that we call when we go through the bushes and we start pretty much bashing things that are in our way. So a lot of the times when we go through the trees, they spring right back up because they're still quite flexible things, and there's a lot of dead material, stumps, grass and everything. So sometimes, as you see, it's not really a very smooth drive, so we just go up and down and, you know, it becomes quite funny. But over here, we've got some very lovely birds, and I wonder if perhaps they don't have a little nest somewhere around here. So I would love to have a look around. This is a Senegal lapwing, pretty little thing walking around, and they're normally in pairs. So the other one is actually not too far. There we go. There's the two of them, and I'm sure you can hear now the wind howling. I'm sure it's the wind that chased the lions away. And it's that time of the year where all of these beautiful little creatures are going to start making their nests, and these guys actually they nest on the ground. So I wonder if perhaps not somewhere around here where we can't really see, if maybe they've got a little nest hidden with some little eggs, some little chicks somewhere around. Hello, beautiful. Where are your tiny ones? Probably looking for whatever is left of the insects around this area. Alright, let's carry on around here, see if maybe we'll see them, because actually on the first day that I came back to Juma, which was about a week ago, on we had to access the main road, right next to the road, found a nest for it was a plover, and it had all its 3 little chicks. And of course I'm driving with the car and I see this bird rushing towards me and you know, screaming and making all sorts of noises, and I got a bit of a fright because you don't really know why these birds are being so aggressive towards you. And then I just realized that right next to the road, right on the side, and had a tiny little nest, very unprotected nest with its 3 little chicks. So all of these ground birds are actually very well known for what's called mobbing behavior. And it is that when they feel like something's going towards their nest, even elephants will start making noises and they'll dive bomb and, you know, just try everything just to make sure that you get out of that path, and then you take another route so that you don't actually either, well, if you're an elephant or a human, squash the eggs, or if you're any potential predator, that you don't see them and that you get so annoyed with them that you actually end up going somewhere else. Now, I think Rex is down this road, so I'm gonna try a different road and see if maybe sorry guys. Okay, copy, thanks. I don't know if maybe Rex has had any luck down there. It's like now it is clearly everyone's looking for the lions because everyone sort of wanted them to be there. So we are spreading and conquering, as they say. So Rex is checking one area, Maggie's checking another one area, and then we're gonna try and check another area. But I think what we're gonna do is actually head back to where we had those tracks and follow them a little bit and find out if it's if they're maybe somewhere around there. Because I wouldn't be surprised actually that we've already driven past them. I'm sure. Munya and a lot of other viewers, you're wondering why I cut my hair, because this is probably about a third of what I used to have. Well, I cut it because I donated it to cancer. So what I mean by that is that once your hair gets to a certain length, you can donate, I think it's a minimum of 25 centimeters of, I think it's 20 inches. And there's an association in South Africa, and there are many more across the world. I've actually donated to some other ones in the States, because this is about the 3rd time that I've donated my hair. And they make wigs to people for cancer. This particular one, which is called Cancer in South Africa, they do real hair wigs for people that have cancer. It's quite something for when people, and I don't know if you've ever known or had any relatives that have had some sort of cancer. It's very, how can I say this? It's very daunting, very terrible once your hair starts falling off, and then just putting on a wig and having that appearance of normality, I think that has a wonderful psychological effect in helping you feel better. So I've heard it from quite a few, well, not quite a few friends, but some friends or family friends that have cancer, that they think that this is a very good thing. So if my hair is long enough and you can help other people be happy, it doesn't cost you anything, so why not? So I went ahead and I cut it. I think Tristan was the one that was most in shock, and then after that I think Taylor nearly had a heart attack. But yep, so that's why I donated it. I think about 8 weeks ago, but I feel like it's grown already. But it's probably better now for the summertime to have less hair, because I think this summer it's going to be very, very, very hot. So we'll see. Come on, little lions. Where's your mane? Maybe we should just threaten them that we're gonna chop off their manes as well. Or maybe not threaten them, maybe that's actually what they want. Ah, there's another giraffe down there. But in this case it's a beautiful bull, because what we saw earlier was a female with the young ones, or a youngster, and then right there hiding in between all the darkness, that is a beautiful bull. Not the greatest spot, I must say, and I don't think that if we go back and forth we're going to be able to get that twig out of the way, because he just chose a very difficult spot. I wonder if it's sometimes because boys don't really want to get their photos taken. I know my brothers, woo, they hated when when anyone tries to take a photo of them. It's like you're stealing their soul. So I wonder if perhaps this giraffe is also hiding. We shall leave you to your little snack, because we're chasing the ones that eat it. Sorry, Lou, what was that question again? Kathy, yes, sorry, I was just, there was a lot of chatter in my ear. I think maybe I've forgotten how many voices I have to have in my head. But Kathy, yes, you can just tell by looking at the ossicons, or also, you know, more commonly known as the horns, although ossicon is the proper word for it, if a giraffe is a male or a female. So if you look at a giraffe and it's got very, very thick horns, and then they're bald on the top, then more likely than not that is a male. And part of the reason for it is because males use their heads to fight one another, that they need their necks to be very strong, but also when they hurt each other, obviously they start losing the hair on top of their... Sorry guys, I'm just paying attention to the radio. All right. Anyway, so you can tell if it's a female because the horns are a lot thinner and they point towards one another. So if it's very thin, very hairy on top, then very likely then that's a female. So that's a very easy. Sorry guys, there's a lot of chatter on the radio, and I just want to find out if they actually just found the lions or not. Alright, sorry, let me just get onto the radio and find out what's happening. Sorry guys, lots of people talking and I don't really understand what they're saying. Rex, sorry, confirm, did you find the Ngala? Okay, copy. I'll take a standby for whenever you guys are done, because I think you're all closer than me. Sorry, go again with your last message. You see all the lion tracks here. Okay, copy. I'll just take a standby one. Alright, so it does seem like the guy's tags actually bumped into the lions, which is wonderful news for us. Let me see. Actually, it seems like they don't want to spend too much time with the lions because they saw them this morning, which I'm really happy about. But in the meantime, let's have a look at these tracks that were confusing all of us. So you see, can you see this one, Senzo, from where you are? Because now, so all of these tracks over here, one lion, 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 lion. So very easy way of finding out if it's a lion. You can obviously see the 3 lobes at the back, 1, 2, 3, very typical of cats. So all cats will have the 3 lobes pretty much down here, whereas the dogs will only have 2 and the hyenas will only have 2. And then 1, 2, 3, and 4 toes. Now, as they carried on around here, they carried on walking in this direction. So I think maybe these are some of the tracks from this morning. It does seem like it just by judging of the quality of the soil. For example, if you see here, you can tell that this is not really a fresh track because we've got the pretty track down here. So the pad is nice, but you see that something's been on top of it. And then very likely it was this piece of, what do you call this? Twig, this branch that was here and then was moved across and then onto this area, because you can follow the track here and then poof all the way around here. And there's another beautiful one there, but you can see lots of things that have been on top of the tracks. So once you come down and have a closer look at it, then you can tell, have they been here, have they not been here, and what's going on, and so on. Now, this is quite complicated, but getting back in, we are back on track. And then this has been a good exercise to get my eyes back in the game. Ooh. Rashni, you say the cat streak continues. Well, hopefully, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that these, because lions have been known before to grow wings and disappear on me. So hopefully they'll stay around until we manage to find them, or until we manage to have a look at them. I will come back to this area a little bit later though. A flowen, says Lou. Yeah, I suppose that's what we can call a lion with wings. Although, I don't know, I've had all sorts of nicknames for them, but none of them were really nice. When you track, and then all of a sudden, there's no lions. What's going on? Okay. Okay, copy. Not too far from that area. I'm just gonna go and follow up and have a look. Alright, seems like there's a bit of change of plan. So we are on standby, or we were on standby for the lions, and the lions are sleeping, so they are there. But apparently there's been a report that Shadow and her little cub have crossed to Vuyatela from Little Gowrie. So I want to go down there, see if maybe we get lucky with Shadow and the cub. Who knows, maybe we can carry on with the streak. And then we'll see. So I actually want to go quite quickly, see if perhaps we get lucky with them somewhere around here, because Shadow normally likes to walk quite a bit. So, and well, yeah, she likes going. So let's go and have a look. Hopefully she'll be there. Come on, Rusty. And then we'll have a look, see. Hopefully they'll be there. I would really like to see her, because also I know, like, my heart stopped for a bit when we heard that she had that limp, but I spoke to Tristan yesterday and he said that she seems to be a lot better, that she's putting some weight on her leg, and that everything seems to be quite better. And sometimes they do get sprains, like if you think of I know because I used to have a cat, and the one day she ended up on top of a tree, as cats do, and then she didn't want to come down. She didn't know how to come down, and then eventually 5 hours later she came down, but the next day she was super grumpy and she wasn't feeling well. So when we took her to the vet, we realized that she just probably had like a sprained leg, and I assume that's very likely to happen to a leopard, especially with all the movements and the jumping and the going down and the running and the hunting and everything that they do. So it's probably quite easy for them to get some minor injuries. And then of course, because they don't have the aid of different types of medicine, then likely that's what's been happening. Now, Little Gowrie sign. It's probably this way. Let's go this way. See if maybe we can catch up with Shadow. Alrighty. I'm gonna carry on looking for her around here, see if we can actually see her or find any tracks for her. But while I do that, I think Taylor has found a very interesting reflection. And I would like to know if it's maybe her reflection along with that one of somebody else. But let's go over to her and find out.
But don't worry, we're not stuck inside of it. Instead, we've got animals drinking from it. Zebra. It was very, very pretty, but the zebra got shy and ran away. naughty zebra, but there's 3 left, and hopefully they'll walk the same route as the others, maybe and stop for a second drink, but who knows. What are you? You all look like you're young stallions. I don't know, there's just a naughty look about them this afternoon, and they're all quite stocky. Maybe they're not even young, they're probably adults. But just the way that they're standing reminds me of 3 teenage boys up to no good. It's actually noisy out in the bush today, which is unusual. At one point there was crickets, now there's birds chirping. Sounded like maybe the African wattled lapwings that were having a bit of a complaint. The zebra were making some noises earlier. Isn't that beautiful? It's very peaceful though, even with the noise. I say that like it was a bad thing. It was not a bad thing. Mara is typically so quiet. Have a little listen. Now it's gone really quiet again. It's quite soothing, isn't it? I really enjoy the peacefulness of the Mara. Well, one of the many things that everybody enjoys about this place. Now, Lloyd, you're wondering if there would be any crocodiles in this water. Maybe some young ones actually quite possibly could. Be a sneaky spot for a croc to live. But under all that sort of algae, you know, there's actually quite a bit of water in here. And this lugger will be quite deep and go on for quite far. So it'd actually be the perfect spot for a croc. But I don't see any with my eyes. But that's not to say that there aren't here. You get some youngsters that maybe like to live in here and not worry about competing for the good spots along the Mara River. Now, it seems as though Jamie has left the paved pathways. Let's go see why and where she is off-roading.
I'm off-roading near the escarpment, and the reason why I think is now relatively apparent. It wasn't initially, because I lost them. They weren't where I left them this morning. So we've arrived at a pride of lions that this morning were feeding upon a buffalo carcass. And supposedly it is part of the sausage tree pride. I'll explain what I mean by supposedly, because I'm a little confused. Hello, girl. Just give her a little bit of extra room. There we go. Fat, flat, and happy lions. The reason that I say I'm a little bit confused about their identity, when I first arrived here, I was told that the sausage tree pride, I think it my records, I wrote it down as consists of 5 females and some older cubs. Obviously, we've got 2 young males included in this, and we've got what looks like one very young female. And then, of course, we've got the 2 females that we see regularly with the 4 cubs. And I'm not entirely sure how they all fit in with each other. They definitely have adjacent territories up against the escarpment. I've never seen our 2 females with the young cubs around here. But it could be that they've separated for a little bit with the little cubs just for some reason to keep them safe. Perhaps there were males in this area pushing in that would have been a threat to those cubs. I'm not 100% sure exactly how everything ties in yet. I'm going to have to try and get a little bit more history on the sausage tree pride when we have the opportunity to do so. They definitely hang out in one of the prettiest places, though. Both the 2 females and this group of lions. Now, this morning they were munching on a buffalo, but it was quite a small buffalo. It looked like a young female, what was left of it. And they'd pretty much finished it by the time we got here. And I would say that the young males probably got the majority of it. Christina is commenting on our proximity to the lions and saying it's amazing that they don't seem to care. Why don't they seem to care about us being as close as we are? Christina, it's simply due to the fact that this is an area where there has been a relatively large amount of tourism, and they've become very, very accustomed to seeing safari jeeps and to seeing researchers in vehicles. So it's something that they've grown up with from a very young age, and they are comfortable with the presence of vehicles. They don't see us as food. I personally, and I know I'll get a lot of flack for this from people who disagree with me, but I personally don't believe that the lions don't recognize individual people in the vehicle. What I mean by that is supposedly they don't see humans in the vehicle. They only see the outline of the vehicle. I think the fact that we sit and we talk and we move, I don't think their eyesight is really that bad. So that is a theory that I completely disagree with. But I do think that they have come to the conclusion through years and years and decades of habituation. They've come to the conclusion that a human being in a vehicle does not mean something dangerous. If I were to get out of the car now and walk at them, that would be an entirely different story, and they would most likely run away. They might charge me purely out of fear, and they would be afraid of me. And that changes completely at night, which is when the lions really come into their own. And a person walking around on foot at night is at enormous risk of being attacked by a lion. We've even noticed that they're much bolder with the vehicles at night. We've had a few moments where the lions have actually come up and had a look at our tires, looked into the car with us. I nearly had a cub sub-adult try and jump into the car because it was playing. Playful, not aggressive. But we are completely and utterly safe. Christina, I did contemplate that. You want to know if these lions are perhaps a breakaway that have come together for a meal. I don't see our two females here at all. So I don't think that they're here with the ones that have the young cubs. But yes, I think there is a possibility of a breakaway. And I would suggest that the breakaway is actually probably the two females with the youngest cubs. And the reason that I say that is just because in terms of lion dynamics, that's usually when you get a breakaway, is when females have young cubs and there might be some kind of threat from males that are not the fathers of those cubs. And those females up and move away from the threat, whereas the rest of the pride stays behind. My theory falls down in one major respect, in that there are two young males with this group. Oh, quick, over to Ali.
Amazing! There they go! There's Shadow and her tiny little cub. So excited. They're actually heading onto Treehouse Dam, and very likely they're heading off for a drink. Let's go have a look. 8 firm, but just so that everyone's aware, there are already 3 vehicles in this area. Alright, so she does seem to have a bit of a limp, but doesn't seem too bad, to be quite honest. I'm sure she is on the mending way. So exciting! Woohoo! I'm so excited. No, hang on, I can't go too fast, Senzo. Alright, sorry Senzo. Watch out here. I'm sure... I think you called it Senzo, because when we came to do the GoPro you were saying, oh, Ingwe, so maybe you actually called the two of them. Now, I'm gonna try go around, because they're coming for a drink. I'm gonna go around them. Hello, beautiful girl. We shall be back in 1 second. Alright, so you were wondering about Bundu bashing? This is proper Bundu bash. Alright. Alrighty. There we go. Back time. There we go. Whoop. I just fell. Awesome. Look at them. So pretty. Yeah, tags, there's myself, Mike, and another vehicle here. You can take standby 1 if you're interested, or Rex. Don't remember, sorry, who wanted to come. Alright, sorry guys. Seems like there's a bit of confusion on the radio because they're not too far from where the lions are, so it's kind of in the way for everyone. And considering this is the only water source, a lot of animals are gonna come around. So luckily we can stay here for a little while, considering that we actually are the ones that found them, and I'm very, very happy about it. Look at those pretty white tails. Hello, pretty tail. Beautiful. Now it seems like she got them all the way. She went to Little Gowrie to fetch the cub. That's where she left it, and then she's come all the way back, and she was actually quite quick considering that block and where we got the reports and the time that she's managed to come around here. So beautiful. So beautiful. From Abel, I've been trying to call you. Seems like there's quite a bit of chatter on the radio. So beautiful. Abel, there are 3 movers here. You can take a standby 1 for now. Alright, sorry. Now all my attention is on this beautiful girl and this amazing experience that we're having with the 2 of them having a drink. It seems like there are a lot of vehicles around. It is a long weekend in South Africa, so lots of people are around in the bush, but luckily it seems like it's a family day for everyone involved. Hello, little one. So happy to see you. She's grown so much in this last few weeks that I haven't seen her. And there's Shadow. It does seem like she's putting some weight, so I think she is actually recovering and starting to get a little bit better, which is very, very exciting. Because obviously we don't want them to be hurt or anything. You're becoming so big. Tad, you're saying that the cub has grown up so much. I completely agree. I think it's starting to become a young leopard and no longer a tiny little cub, as they say. So clearly they're going behind us. Hello, beautiful things. Where are they going? Alright, I just want to see where they're going, because obviously I don't want to move around and then just get on them. I want to try and get out of here now. Alright. They are mobile now, heading north from Treehouse Mati. Alrighty. Let's follow them around for a little bit longer. How fantastic. I'm so happy to see them. And like I said, I think she's morphing now. She's no longer a tiny little leopard cub. I think she's just now starting to become a young leopard, because she's grown up quite a bit and her body just doesn't seem the body of a tiny little leopard anymore. Don't you think so? Very pretty. There they go. Let's just go. Where are you going? Richard, you're wondering how old Shadow's cub is. So, I'm actually not 100% sure. I think she was born run about either January or February, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's probably the time, because I remember we saw her in Easter, or Easter Sunday, and she was quite tiny. Alright. This is gonna be a tough one. Tenzo, we can do this, right? Alright. This is the easiest way in. There we go. Alrighty, it seems like everyone's left us now that they've gone into the thickets. Woohoo! So we get more time with them. Hello, beautiful girls. And again, at this time of the year, I think it's when you can really appreciate that camouflage of the leopards. I mean, look at them walking in front of us and they're virtually invisible, particularly the cub. If you see the way that it's walking around, you can just see nothing, pretty much. I know where to look for, but imagine just how easy it would be just to miss them, especially now that she's gone behind there. So very beautiful solitary creatures, very hard to spot them. Now Shadow, watch where you're going, because I don't think those lions are too far away from here. We were wondering this morning, actually, funny enough, if she had a kill somewhere. Alright, seems like it's an all-rounder cat day for all of us. And while we try to figure out where these two beautiful girls are going, because it seems like they're going to be heading into an area that's a bit more difficult to follow through, let's head over to Taylor, who's also managed to find some beautiful cats.
Look who we've got in the corner of your screen. It's not but one lioness, but two. Now we're going to try and figure out who exactly they are. Now we're near the governor's gate, so it could be either the ololololololo females, because of course we are like children, we can't just say olololo, lionesses, or it could be the marsh breakaway lionesses, but I believe that there's 3 of them. Well, there's also 3 olololos, but I only see 2 for now. But they keep looking back towards the river line, so maybe somebody else is hiding down that side. Unfortunately, this is still a non-off-roading area, so we won't be able to follow them. And they are getting up every now and then and moving in the direction of the river line, which is not great for us, unfortunately. But fear not, if they do disappear. We left the Ngama Pride not too far away from here. That rhymed. Unintentionally. I love it when I do things like that. And now I'm about to be attacked by midges. A tornado of midges. It's so wonderful. I'm definitely looking forward to this. Manu, are you? No, and Manu's going, at least we're not at Lake Victoria. That might be a reason why I wouldn't go and visit it. No, I'm just teasing. That'd be ridiculous as a guy to say you won't go somewhere for bugs. But anyway, so the girls are thin. They're not particularly lean. And I think that they're ready for their next meal. And it's not too warm either. It's actually been a nice cool afternoon. Quite a bit of cloud cover, so darkness is going to come quicker tonight in favor of the lions. Unfortunate for the prey. But I wonder what they're going to go for. Now this area, oh, hang on. I think I may have just felt a raindrop, which is something I have not felt for quite some time. And I thought it's too good to be true. We did see a white-browed kukul as well, and Manu says he can smell the petrichor in the air. Yep, I can feel raindrops. Hopefully it's just a little cloud, and that'll be good for the lionesses. The lions here seem to enjoy hunting in the rain, or during the most horrendous weather. The more horrendous the weather, the better they become at hunting, is what I've noticed. Because every time we've had lions, and then the rain comes about and we can't follow them, by the time we found them again, they've made a kill. And it's, you know, we start moving straight after the rain. But there they sit. Hello? I'm just checking. It's very quiet today. I'm very nervous. Everyone's making me very nervous in Final Control. I'm worried. What have you spotted back there? Oh, a zebra. Maybe that's what the girls are looking at. Now, Christina, you're wondering if there's always so many bugs. Typically after the rain is when you'll see the most bugs about. Well, I think in most places in the world, but in Africa, most certainly. Oh, there's a variety of game up there. Impala, a zebra, I'm sure there'll be a couple of warthog too, maybe later some hippo. Oh, they're the warthogs. They're there. I was about to tell you how this is a great area for warthogs, actually. But there we go. The proof is in the pudding. So, yes, the bugs, they're coming closer and closer to this little swarm of insects, of little midges. It's not ideal. We need to get elephant dung. I keep saying this. But we need to find some, and we need to burn it. I'm going to make my tin. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Remember I tell you stories about how I used to make this tin, and I would hang it on my car? I can do exactly that. And we've got a place to hang it. Awesome. Maybe we'll do this one day when it's raining. I'll have all the tin, and we've got screwdrivers and things in our toolboxes. Perhaps on a day when it is raining, we shall make our very own incense burner of elephant dung, because that's all you're allowed to burn in this particular incense holder. Yes, right. So how exciting. Ali and Shadow, what a great way, great welcome back gift, I think. Ali, I'm sure you've got a smile from ear to ear. So let's go across and see your pearly whites.
Here they go. They've carried on going. I think there's been a bit of a few tough spots, but they've carried on. So I wonder if perhaps she's actually not gone to go get the cub and then bring her to maybe to a kill, because I know that Tristan mentioned that she was busy hunting yesterday and doing all sorts of attempts on was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Time has a funny way of flying by. Now I'm not too sure where I'm gonna be able to find an easy way out of here, because they're going into, it's so much easier being a leopard than a Land Rover sometimes, but we will carry on. Just come towards Philemon's cut line. They're gonna pop out there. Alright, sorry. Just trying to direct people onto the area that they're heading off to. It seems like Shadow's a bit tired now because she's panting quite a bit. But she's gonna carry on moving. Standing by. Standing by for you, Herbie. Alright, maybe not. Beautiful girls. Alright, so we're gonna carry on here because I'm hoping this is the easiest way out of here. Although I see a very big log in the way. Whew. I think we're gonna be lucky, Senzo. I think the cub is still also happy to find its mother. Now, they keep walking and stopping, so I'm sure Shadow's a bit tired. I think even though it doesn't seem to be the worst possible injury, it does take a little bit of strain to walk all the way from wherever she is directing the cub to go get the cub and then come all the way back. So hopefully she'll be taking us to some very nice spot. And there she goes. I'm gonna give it to her for trying so hard, even with the limp. I think Shadow gets a lot of brownie points. And there's a cub running, trotting away. Someone's full of energy. I think I hear some hyenas in the distance. As you see, Shadow's just... She also heard it, and I think it's quite far, so I wonder if perhaps she is actually not taking us back to a kill, or, well, not really us, but the cub. And maybe that hyena just gave her a bit of a warning, because as soon as she heard it, she also stood still, raised her head and carried on listening. So there are all sorts of dangers involved, not only in the ones they're feeding on top of the kill, but getting from point A to point B, because they could very well, or she could very well go and get the cub, and by the time she gets back, there are lions or another leopard or who knows what else around there. Alright. Are you gonna head to the road? Because if you did, that would be amazing. Alright. Let's see around here. Whoop. Whoop. Rex, Rally Rex. By the Misikaya, the old Misikaya. There, you can see them from here. Alright, perfect. Now we've managed to direct people in here. And then... Oh, somebody's tired. Going for a bit of a rest? Are you going to stay around there for a while, girl? So that we can have another look. So you see, she's still very hot. Although, like I said, it's a very nice afternoon. There's a nice breeze. But obviously she's been walking quite a bit. So a lot of panting going on to try and cool herself down. To put her body temperature to a more acceptable level. And then, well, obviously always keeping an eye out on the cub, which I've actually lost in amongst all of this grass and all of this scenery.
There's something that the cub is eating.
Oh, the cub is eating! They've got to kill! Ah! Yes. Sorry. Alright. Let's go have a bit of a look. Amazing! Woohoo! It seems like she managed to kill a steenbok. Alright, I want to try and get to a point where we're not going to be too much of a problem. Senzo, can you get them from in front of me? Because I don't want to disturb them too much, but I want to make sure that they also get a bit of a view. If you go around here, park there, you'll be able to see them. Alright, well, how amazing is this? I think this is proper proof that Shadow has been trying very, very hard and doing a wonderful job, because all of her hunting and gallivanting last night actually paid off, because she did manage to make a kill. It seems to be a steenbok by the looks of it. So even if it's a small antelope, it's good for her. I think she's a bit upset now. What is... Yes, it does seem like a little steenbok, and this little cub is definitely very happy to be feeding upon the kill. How beautiful is this? My goodness, Shadow. So many brownie points for you. You've done a very wonderful job. Now, I think I'm gonna switch my radio up, considering that I've got very capable people around me, just so that there's a little bit less voices in my head. Hello. So actually, no wonder she lay down and she was so happy here. And I'm very happy for your vantage point, Senzo, because otherwise I think maybe we would have driven a bit too close to the kill, because we obviously want to give them a bit of space so that they don't feel uncomfortable with us and they're happy about it. I think Shadow's probably very tired, and it doesn't seem like there's been a lot that's been eating. By the looks of it, she's just taken a lot of the hair out, perhaps maybe opened it around, but lots and lots of food. And for this tiny little cub is still quite a very nice big meal. So you see now she's tilted her head using her back teeth as a scissor to try and open up the kill and get to the meaty part. Although I think Mom's helped you. And Elle, you're wondering when will the cub get a name? Where normally cubs get their names when they're about a year old, just to make sure that they have been around for long enough. But it depends also whoever it is that you ask, because a lot of people prefer to name the cubs after. There's a lot of how can I call it, superstition among some of the rangers, that they prefer just to call them after they become independent, so not to jinx them. But I would assume that she would just get a name when she's about a year old, just to make sure that everything's fine and that she's actually survived probably what is or could be the toughest year of her life, which is actually also the first one. That's beautiful. Suze, you're saying that the cub needs to eat up before the hyenas come and take it away. Well, it is quite funny now that we know that there was a kill here. No wonder why Shadow stopped a little bit before we got here, and then she started hearing around. Also likely she knew that the kill was here already, clearly, which we didn't. But she just stops and takes a moment to listen, and I'm sure the cubs went off trotting about because it could already smell it. So it just proves that how much more enhanced their senses are when compared to ours. They can see, they can smell, they can hear a lot of things that we don't. Which always makes me feel like a bit of a subspecies. And them like the real powerful creatures around the planet. I am so happy that she's actually eating. I don't think I could have expected anything better on the first day back. I'm actually so happy to see Shadow. I said to Tristan, I was like, oh, I would really like to see Shadow and the cub. Woohoo! Hopefully she'll be able to have this kill around here. Not too many, well, Shadow is not really known for hoisting or putting her kills up on trees, and it's a relatively small kill for what it could be. Now the cub is not too happy. Mom's getting up. Is maybe Mom gonna come and have a bite? Pride Cat Mama, you're wondering how the cats remember where they left their kill. Well, animals have very good memories. Perhaps we all know about how wonderful and how amazing the elephant's memory is. So they're probably the ones that have, or most studies have been done, but they can all remember. It's not like they do something and they don't remember what they've done, of who they've seen or where they've grown up or anything like it. So I'm sure she roughly knew, likely she didn't know the exact tree where she left it down, but she roughly knew, well, I left it somewhere around here. So once she gets closer to the area, she'll be able to pick it up by smell or even by sight. And even if it's hitting and we cannot see it properly, their vision is slightly different from us. It's more, it's able to pick up more detail than what we do. So maybe something that's odd, and obviously ones that you know that what you're looking for, it's a bit easier to find it out there in the bush. And I think the cub, though, he found it by smell, because once we got here, it was just so happy and it trotted off, and thought maybe it was playing with something, but obviously food was there. So that is the best thing that could have happened to it. And now she is busy being a little glutton, and she's going to eat it all until her belly is very fat and round and she cannot walk. Or at least I hope that's what they do. Because it's very nice seeing that she's actually doing so well. Now, if you see around the patches of the steenbok, you can see there are some patches where the hair is missing, so that was probably Shadow, or, well, not probably, very likely Shadow, just taking some of the hair out, just to try and to get to the actual skin so that she can start trying to cut up the skin and then get to the meat that's underneath. And I think what happened is, because she spent so much energy hunting and stalking and trying to bring this animal down, because steenboks are very, very fast little creatures, so I don't think it was easy for her. I'm sure she had to be very patient to try and get to this little antelope to get as close as possible, to then pounce on it and then get it. So I'm sure that after making the kill, she rested for a bit, but she also fed off it for a little while, because we can see where the cub is feeding. Clearly, this has not all been made by her in the time that we've been here. So I'm sure Shadow also had a bit of a bite, and now she's gone. She's fetched the cub, she's brought it back, and now they're busy eating. I do wonder, though, how far into Little Gowrie they were, because they were quite thirsty. And now Shadow's quite tired. The hardships of being a mom. Richie, you're wondering at what age do the cubs become independent? Well, roughly for leopards it can be around from 1.5 years to 2. I've even seen sometimes where they hang around their mothers until they're about 3. So I think it's fairly area and personality dependent. Some mothers kick them out earlier, some cubs are independent a little bit earlier, but roughly I would say 2 years is a good average, 1.5 years, 2 years. Anything that's a little bit less than that forces cubs into independency, like for example the disappearance of Karula and Hosanna and Shungile having to fend for themselves from a young age. And sometimes you get, funny enough, I've seen them mostly with male leopard cubs where they hang around their mothers for quite a long time, even after she's had her litter following that particular one, and they always seem to be very hungry and they always come for the kills. I think maybe they just really want to get an easy meal. Can't really blame them. But yeah, about 2 years. So this little one still has got quite a long time, but even at this age, when the mother leaves her for long periods of time, all of her instincts are there. So she'll start hunting perhaps tortoises or following squirrels or mongoose. So she's already, I wouldn't be surprised if she's already managed to make small kills of her own. I have seen them at such a young age following mongoose, and obviously they're not successful most times. Like more often than not, they'll just be spotted, or the animals will fly away or come attacking them and mobbing them. But they do have it in them to start trying from a very young age, and the more they do it, obviously, the more they're going to perfect their hunting skills, and that's what's going to allow them eventually to become independent leopards. Well, I think it's funny. It hasn't been that long, but in 2 months we've seen what a difference it's done to this particular cub. Kristen, you're wondering if the cub is big enough to try and hoist kills up trees. Well, I don't think it would have the experience or the skills more than the strength at this particular age to put it up on a tree. So I think this little one is still, if it's something small like a mongoose or perhaps a bird or a squirrel, very likely especially if it's seen its mom do it, then they'll try their luck and they'll try to do it. But I think in this case, what we're looking at, this particular steenbok, it will be definitely too big. There are no easy trees where I can see where a cub would be able to hoist in. Maybe Shadow's also going to come for a bite. So I think practice makes perfect. She is still a little bit young to be able to do that, but with smaller things, yeah, why not? I'm sure she would be able to put a squirrel up a tree. Now there's a bit of aggression there. She doesn't want to share her kill with mom. Look at all that hissing. Shadow, what you doing? I think she wants to eat. Seems like Taylor has found one of my ultimate favorite animals in all of Africa. So let's go over to her and find out what beautiful creature she's found while Shadow and the cub decide what they want to do.
Manu and I were just discussing how these rhinos really gave us the short end of the stick for World Rhino Day. But here they are a few days late, ready to try and, well, redeem themselves. So I thought as we were heading towards the Angamas, we would quickly pop on by. How great is this? Beautiful out in the open. The rain is just starting to come down on us too. And not that the rhinos really be bothered by that too much. I've actually had some really cool sightings of rhinos mud wallowing during the pouring rain. I suppose that's when those wallows are as slippery as they're going to get, and I'm sure they have a bit of fun wallowing around. But that's beautiful, isn't it? There's the escarpment. I think it's the same too. They're very far away, as they normally are. And just having a little look. I don't know. One's also got notches out of the ear, but I suspect that most of the black rhino here would have notches, as there aren't too many of them. So I'm sure they are marked in some way and have a profile. But it's hard to tell. Remember the one, the male had that sort of split in his ear that caused his ear to almost tear completely in half. Remember that? Maybe that's, so I don't think that's him. Maybe that's the female. Actually, I think I can see it from here. Can we have we'll look at the other one? Let's see. Is your ear torn? It wasn't that one. I'm sure it was the left one. Yes, there we go. So it's the same male and female that we keep seeing. Very cool, though. It's nice that we can keep tabs and watch them. I'm trying to think now, have I seen any other rhinos other than these two? And now I'm starting to think if, well, things have just changed, and because maybe the population isn't in abundance, maybe a male and female have just sort of decided to keep each other company. Things like this, it wouldn't surprise me if it were to happen. I've seen more bizarre things in the bush than a black and a white, two black rhinos, male and female, perhaps just accompanying one another through their lives. Quite interesting. But we'll have to just keep watching, because I definitely don't see any courtship process, and I know that's what I first thought, my first assumption, but maybe I'm wrong. Perhaps this is deeper than I thought. Let's move down, though, closer towards the escarpment where the Angamas are, and in order for us to be able to do that, you'll have to go into Jamie's car, under her covers, and see if that rain is letting up.
Let up. I don't know whether to trust it or not. In fact, I'm not sure what to believe anymore. Ferg and I were sitting quite peacefully. We knew it was raining, but it was only about 1 or 2 drops, and then all of a sudden it was absolute sheer chaos. My jacket is a bit, well, drenched. That's all right. I've got a jersey. And we had to do a very rapid deployment of our covers, unfortunately. In the process of applying a mesh to the top of our roof to make it stronger, the covers appeared to no longer fit. So we find ourselves in a rather dire situation here. So I'm trying to escape the rain now that it's let up a little bit. I'm trying to get away towards, I don't really know where to go. The first downpour caught me completely by surprise. I'm sure this man is going to come and ask me where the lions are, and I'm going to tell him I don't know, because I had to drive away to get out of the car, then they got up, and now they're gone. Beelining straight for me. Bet you. 100 shillings, Ferg? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what's going to happen. Oh, man. Now I'm going to tell him that I lost them. He's going to be so disappointed in me. He's got 6 wheels. And the opposite of 6 wheels would be Tina on Safari's question of shame. He's wondering why I'm ignoring him now. Just hold on, sorry. The lions, but I lost them when we were putting the covers down.
They're not to be?
I lost them when we put the covers down.
For real?
Yeah, they went towards the escarpment, but I don't know where they went. It started raining hard.
Okay.
Yeah, but I had to move away so we could put this down.
Okay. I saw you like giving me a sign or something. I thought maybe there is something here.
Oh no, sorry, I didn't mean that. Wasn't what I meant to do at all.
Ah, okay.
Pole.
No, there's a guy who told me the same. But I don't know which way they went. He told me to take that road there.
Yeah, they went somewhere in this direction.
Okay.
But I don't know where they went exactly because I had to move away.
Okay, he told me to take the road in the middle there.
Yeah.
I'll meet them on the way.
Yeah, I think you probably will.
Okay, nice.
Okay. All right, enjoy. Right, what are we talking about? From 6 wheels to 3-legged animals. Tina on safari, yes, we do. Especially hyena. It's very common, well, common is perhaps the wrong word. The most likely animal you're going to see with 3 legs is a hyena. You occasionally see 3-legged wild dogs. I have seen lions only using 3 legs, but I've never seen a 3-legged lion in the wild. I've never seen one that's lost a leg. And it is possible. Generally speaking, when you talk about prey animals, the 3-legged ones are highly unlikely to survive because they're not fast enough to get away from the predators. Makes them a very easy target, makes them a very obvious target, and inevitably they're caught and eaten. The amazing things about animals is their ability to cope with injuries and an injured limb. And speaking of that, let's go back across it to Shadow with her sore paw and a dead steenbok.
That does sound like a bit of a tragedy, Jamie. Although, well, it is a bit of a tragedy for the steenbok, but I think it's a very nice story for beautiful Shadow and her cub. I think that's the wonderful thing about creatures out here in the wild. Like, obviously we stress because we get emotionally attached to them and we don't want them to suffer, and I think it's a very human response, just being able to have this empathy towards other species. But I think it speaks wonders for them just how resilient they are. You can never write any of these animals off. Like, even with Shadow's very bad limp, look at her, she's even still providing for her cub, which I think is a wonderful thing. So beautiful. I think she wants to feed, and I think she's moved a little bit closer to the cub because she's also now getting a bit hungry. But the cub is not too happy. Look at that growling going on and that hissing. Just straight at the cub. I think Shadow is just, reassuring the little one that she's the one that made the kill and she is going to eat. Stevie, you're wondering if they always let the cub eat first. Well, now that she's brought back the cub likely hasn't fed for a few days. So yes, she's going to allow the cub to feed first. But also remember, when we got here, she had already fed on the steenbok a little bit. So I think she's probably still very hot. We can see her panting still quite heavily. She went all the way to fetch the cub, came for a drink, and then carried back here. But when she wants to feed, no doubt that she'll lay down the law and tell the cubs, like, no, it's my turn to eat now, so give me the carcass. She is looking so big. Look at that pretty face. So yeah, they do. They're like, when they, just going back to your question, now thinking of all the experience that I've had with mother leopards bringing their cubs back to a kill, often they'll just let them go ahead first, but also on, I would say, 98% of the cases where I've seen it, they've also already fed a bit on the carcass, and that's why they've brought them back in and they're happy to have them. But like I said, I think Shadow is working up her appetite. The cub is very skinny, or in the sense that likely she hasn't fed for a few days, or she hasn't had a very good meal in a few days, so she hasn't stopped eating. She's trying to eat as much as she can to try and get as much food in as possible, because, well, the kill is on the ground, so there are other potential creatures that could come and try to get the kill from them, and I'm sure she's actually just hungry. Who knows, maybe Shadow will be a little bit hungry later, a little bit angry and hungry, and then she'll take the carcass from the cub, or she'll start feeding, and then just move the cub a little bit away. Look at that cub. And those pretty paws and the way she already knows what to do. You see, the Shadow is still very hot, so I reckon she's actually been walking for quite a bit. Because her panting, it's not, I've actually even put on a jersey. I think that was a bit of optimistic because now I'm actually very hot, but it just gives you an idea that it's not that hot, so she shouldn't actually still be panting, but I think it's more for the effort of what she's done, of going all the way where she's gone and then come back all the way, and who knows how long she's actually been hunting. Perhaps she's actually been hunting all throughout the day. I'm sure she only made this kill sometime either during midday or the middle of the day after drive, or sometime during the drive, or late during the drive this morning, just judging by how much meat there is and by the state of the little steenbok carcass. Macy, you're wondering until what age talking about hoisting, somebody's being optimistic and putting on a show. So they normally, they're nursed until they're about maybe 6-7 months old, and but they are introduced to meat when they're just about a few weeks old. So normally when they're about maybe 6 to 8 weeks old, milk stops being enough, or not being enough for them to be able to grow, so the mothers start introducing them to kills. So either they'll start bringing smaller things to the den site wherever it is that they leave them, or more often than not, once they become a little bit more mobile, when they're about 3 months old or so, then they start moving them around from den site to den site, bringing them to kill sites. And well, it's still happening a few months later. She's left the cubs somewhere that she deems safe, and then she went on hunting, and then her hunting, oh, look at that aggression between the two of them. Definitely having a mother-daughter moment here. And she's gone back to fetch the cub and then brought it all the way back here so that she can feed. Oy, oy, oy. Yeah, Mama said it's her turn to eat. Oh, shame, now she's sulking. Oh, so pretty. Yeah, I think, well, it's hard to tell from here, but I think Shadow's actually had a few bites, and now she's just let the cub know. And I wonder if the cub is actually going to go around the other way and come back from the other side of the tree and try her luck again. So obviously Shadow's made this kill, so she also needs to feed from it. Yeah. I would love it if she went all the way around. It would be very funny, just trying to play with Mom and be like, ha! You think that I can't eat from this side. And actually when she got it and she started moving it, I think she was actually trying to move it away from her mother so she could carry on eating. But it seems like Shadow's being a good mother now, and she's plucking some more of the hair. So I just saw a little bit of fluff coming out of her mouth, and she's carried on eating. Maybe just trying to clean up the hair. So she's moving it around, so she uses her tongue, that's very rough, to try and get all of the hair out so that she can get to the skin a little bit easier, and then obviously start cutting through the skin. Now, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to go around or where she is, because there are quite a few stumps, and it's quite a secluded spot, and very likely that's the reason why she chose this particular spot to leave the kill. Also, I don't think she killed this steenbok too far from here. But it would prove quite difficult for us to try and get there, and I think we would disturb them more than anything, which I don't really want to do. I think that she's done a very good job, so rather not get in her way. Are you going to move the kill now? Maybe she want to teach the cub a lesson and just take it away. Be like, you don't want to share, you don't get dinner. Our beard, you are wondering if hoisting is an instinct or if it's learned behavior from the cubs, saying that Shadow normally doesn't hoist her kills. I think it's a bit of both. I think it's a lot of instinct, but it's also learned behavior, because we know her sister Tandy does hoist her kills quite often. So, well, at least as far as I know. So if I'm being wrong, please correct me using the hashtag SafariLive. But as far as I know, Shadow is very well known for never hoisting her kills, and I think that's just something very particular about her, but it's also area dependent. So animals learn very quickly by experience that if they put their kills, or animals, leopards, that if they put them up trees, and that they won't have to worry too much about other potential predators coming and stealing their kill. But in areas, for example, where you don't have many hyenas, there are less leopards that will hoist their kills, and it's widely documented. In this particular area, because we have the numbers of hyena that we do, often you'll see that they'll put them up in the trees. So I think it will be quite interesting later on to actually see if the cub does decide to be like its mother, and it learns that, well, you know, if my kill just gets stolen, I'll just go and make a new one. Or if it'll actually try and be more like its grandmother, and perhaps even like its aunt and distant relatives in the same lineage, to try and put them up trees. Because I'm sure eventually Shadow will like put something up there and then just show her. But they're very protective of their kill, so I think perhaps instinct plays a bigger part, and then just experience from there. I think she's just crushing bone now. Beautiful. Seems like Taylor McCurdy is having a lot of fun today out in the Maasai Mara, just as we are with this beautiful two girls. So it seems like she's got an odd combination of creatures. A very big one and some very, very lazy ones. So let's go over to her and find out who the real king of the jungle is.
Decided to call it an early evening. It's a hippopotamus who's just exited the water. Oh, and look, lions. So we're at the Ngamas. And it doesn't look like they've eaten anything just yet. They have moved quite far off of the road. And I think this is our hippopotamus that we sung the song, "She's a lady." But then we had to change the lyrics to, "He's not a lady," because we discovered that it was a young male hippopotamus. I'm sure it's the same one. And we know that he loves to live in this lug. And we actually see him almost every single evening. He goes about his grazing. He doesn't seem to be too fazed with the Ngama pride. So I think that two of them have an understanding where he kind of says, I'm just going to leave you alone and graze along the lugger and eat the lovely green grass, and if your cubs chase me, I will chase them back. So hopefully the adults have told the youngsters to leave the hippopotamus alone because it's a dangerous toy to play with, and they go about their day. I mean, you can see the Ngama's not even staring across at him, and the hippo is completely oblivious to the lion. So I'm sure it knows that it's there, but it just knows that it's got nothing to worry about. So I thought that's quite nice. There's a little teddy bear. There's two little teddy bears on the mound with one of the adults. Now it is starting to rain. We haven't quite got the downpour that Jamie seems to have trapped herself in, although she didn't do it on purpose. The rain trapped her. So it's drizzling, a bit harder than a drizzle, I'd say. So for now we're okay. We've managed to close 3 out of the 4 sides, and we've got one of the sides open, which we're obviously filming out of. But I really hope it doesn't get too hard, because then we're going to have to close everything and sit in our tent and get nice and warm, because it's exceptionally hot in this tent, because we've got the one with the fancy roof that hopefully all the other vehicles will have shortly. Now, proud cat mama, you're wondering, other than man, do the lions have any other predators? Most certainly, other lions are a big threat. Buffalo, big threat to lions. Hyena clans, massive hyena clans versus, 1 or 2 hyenas, definitely. And leopards, to an extent, to young lions, could cause a bit of trouble. And then, yeah, elephants can quite easily trample lions if they really wanted to. So there definitely are threats around here. Even the river is a threat to the lion. They could drown the young cubs, maybe, trying to escape danger, and mom leads them through treacherous water and one drowns. So I suppose there's many different things out here. You just got to think about how dangerous it is really out in the wild. So yeah, there's many things that could harm a lion. But for now, they're safe in their domain, just scanning about, and I'm sure those lionesses must be starving by now, because they ate a wildebeest, but that was for all of them and the cubs plus 3 male lions, so that's not particularly much at all, if you think about it. Not great, is it? So they'll need to catch something, hopefully tonight. They tried this morning, they chased after the wildebeest, and maybe they would have tried throughout the day too. Just weren't sitting with them the whole day, but it doesn't look like they were successful. They have moved the cubs though, but perhaps they're moving them closer because they're wanting to maybe go a little bit further away. Maybe they're heading to a different area in order to try and catch something, because there isn't much around here at the moment. Everything knows that the lions are here, so why would the prey species hang about? So they need to venture off, maybe to the hills, a little, 24-hour holiday, let the plains replenish themselves and come back down and try again. Or maybe they catch something up in the hills. That's also a possibility. Now, I believe that you're all saying that it's quite lush out here. It is. It's after all the rain we've had. It's absolutely beautiful. It's been amazing to see the change. I didn't think I was going to see a change at all from the lovely yellow grass to, well, all this green. The trees have all getting leaves now. All the branches seem to be plumping up a bit. It's very nice. And, well, we've just had another downpour too, adding to it. Now, I'm just going to sit like this way because it's more comfortable. Mr. Hubble, you're wondering if lions can swim? They most certainly can. Most of the cat species are actually really good at swimming. They just prefer not to have to go through it. Especially if you've got young cubs, you wouldn't want to put them in danger of something like that. I mean, there's crocodiles, there's hippos. Again, the current is very strong at the moment, so it would be silly to cross with young cubs. But say if it was a new coalition of males coming through here and their only chance of getting away with their cubs, they might take that the dip through the river and try and get through to the other side. But lions even swim the Sabi Sand, the Sand River and the Sabi River. I talk about the Southern Pride quite a bit, and the oldest lion in that pride, Mandlev, she is in regular of crossing the Sabi River. So water is no strange to lions, just obviously there's more water in certain areas and they become used to it. So in Zambia, the lions used to, well, in the Lower Zambezi National Park, we'd often get lions swimming across from Mana Pools and all other parts of, not just Mana Pools, but the other reserves in Zimbabwe too. They'd come across and they'd go back and forth on a regular basis. And then, of course, Botswana and the Delta. The lions like to swim there. I don't think they like to swim. They never look very pleased when they are wading through the water. I think they know all the dangers that lurk in the dark corners, just like I do. But Ali, however, is sitting with beautiful cats of her own. So let's go have a look at Shadow and her cub.
Yes, we are still looking at this beautiful leopard, still feeding, but she has actually been kind enough to turn around and she's not giving us a bum look anymore. Now we can actually see her head. But talking about heads, we were having a discussion because we can't quite figure out where the head of the steenbok has gone off to. So we think she might actually be feeding close to where the head was, because I see little leaves around that appear to be head, but then I have a closer look and then it's definitely not the head. So they normally start feeding around the stomach or the softer parts, which is normally the bottom side of where the meat is a little bit softer and easier to bite. But I just think that she's actually started around the neck, so I'm a little bit confused about everything that's going on. Hello, beautiful ones. Now, they're still there in shadows, actually. Oh, every now and again, she'll carry on feeding, and then she's fine, and then she goes like this, and then whoops, something sounds, and then she just looks around, makes sure that there's nothing else around her that is not supposed to be there, that could be a potential threat to her, and then she carries on eating. So I think, actually, she's decided the cub has had enough, and that it is her turn to start feeding. So one of the other vehicles, as you guys can hear, is moving out, so I'm gonna wait for them to reposition, so to see if maybe we can have a bit of a different angle, a different look. Oh, or maybe Shadow is going to be super nice and show us the head of the steenbok, which has become a bit of a mystery right now. There is something, because every now and again I also think that I hear hyenas, so I wonder if perhaps there isn't something that she can hear that's bothering her a little. And funny enough, just for the sake of irony, no, so she actually took the head off. She's actually gone and done the very leopard thing of started eating through the stomach. She hasn't taken the stomach contents out. Perhaps that's what she's trying to do now by breaking it open, and she started feeding on the rump of the steenbok, which is normally softer meat, easier for her and the cub to eat. But I think the real game is on now, and she's going to try to open it up and get the stomach contents out. And then we'll see what she chooses to do, because she's a bit of a uncommon leopard in the way that she treats some of her kills. So a lot of the times what they'll do is when they take the stomach out, either they remove their kill somewhere else so that the other potential predators cannot smell the kill, or they actually start covering it with grass, which is quite it's quite funny to watch. There we go. I think now she's definitely gotten into it. Now, where? It's funny because we often see the steenboks on drive and we're like, oh, it's such a pretty cute little animal, you know, it's just a snack for a leopard. But if you think about it, for these two leopards it's actually quite a nice meal. We'll maintain them and sustain them for a few more days at a time. Now, where is my... Hello, Shadow. She keeps looking in that direction, so I wonder if maybe there's something there. Job, you're wondering if this is Shadow's first cub, that the one that we're seeing with her. No, it's definitely not her first cub. In the time that I've been in the northern Sabi-san, she's had quite a few, but for one reason or the other, she doesn't seem to be that successful in raising cubs. Sometimes I think some of the elements are against her. I know that there was a suspicion that some of her cubs might have died because they were in a pipe and then there was a flood. And now she's got this little ones, and then it just happens, unfortunately. There's a high mortality for small predators like leopard cubs and lion cubs and even hyena cubs. So I think maybe it's a bit of bad luck. Sometimes their motherhood skills are not the best. But it's been Shadow in particular. It's been a source of ongoing debate. But funny enough, when I first arrived in the northern Sabi-san, the very first leopard that I saw was Shadow and her older cub, which actually made it to adulthood. That's called, or is known as Sindile. So she was actually my very first leopard around this area. Her and, well, he was already a sub-adult male leopard, not really a youngster anymore, at least not as small as this one. So just to go back to your question now, this is not her first cub. She's had a few in between. But this is her latest or her last litter, and she will be with this little one until either she raises it successfully to adulthood, which we're all hoping for, or if anything should happen to the cub, which we really don't want it to happen, then very likely she'll go back into estrus, she'll mate again, and then she'll have her next litter of cubs. Now this is getting a bit gruesome because I can see she's pulling out all of the internal organs. I can see a little bit of the intestine, so if this is a bit gruesome for you, please do look away. It is very raw sometimes, and sometimes it's just not the prettiest look. But this is how our animals survive, and feeding off the organs of the animals, it is a crucial part because there are so many. It's a very, how can I put this? It's a very fine balance between how much meat they have to eat, but also how many other ingredients they have to eat, because they need the calcium, they need the phosphorus, they need the gut bacteria. So they have to feed on all these different things just to maintain a healthy condition. Now, the only part that they really will not eat is the stomach or the stomach contents, because it's pretty much grass inside there. But even sometimes, if they're not feeling well or if they're under a stressful dietary situation, then you will see them eating a little bit of the stomach contents as well. And they will, of course, they don't eat the intestines or the inside of the intestines all that much. So now she's busy starting to take some of the organs out. So like I said, if this is a bit too much, please do look away. However, this is how our beautiful creatures do survive out here. And everything is food to them, and everything carries a nutritional value for them. Casson from Denmark, hello. You're wondering how long will this kill keep the two of them fed? Well, if we're lucky and if she doesn't get her kill stolen from anything else, likely she's going to be here tomorrow, I would say, probably in the morning, if they're still very full. But I don't think that this is going to sustain them for more than a day. Because it is still a small creature. They managed to hunt one of the smallest, or perhaps the smallest species of antelope we get around here. So while it might be a good meal for the two of them, because they're not, well, the cub is still small and Shadow is not one of the biggest female leopards around here. it won't last them for too long. Oh, I think I finally see the ear of the steenbok. So the head is still there. Oh, is that a leaf? It's an ear. They have put an end to the head mystery. Now I think it could be that Shadow was also being a good mother in the sense that she realized the cub doesn't have the strength or the knowledge to open it up and get everything out. So maybe that's why she decided to take it from the cub. Rashni, you're wondering if the leopards will eat the brain of their prey. Well, some of them do. I've actually seen Tingana do it before with a warthog head, and there are nutrients everywhere, but it's not that common. Normally they'll prefer to feed on other things and won't really try to get through the skull because it's a lot of effort trying to opening the skull, and then they will leave it and feed off the rest of it. But having said that, it's also not uncommon or unheard of them actually feeding on the brain. I think the cub at the back is getting a little bit hungry. We see its head poking from behind the tree every now and again. I think she can also smell that there are a lot of... Hello, beautiful. There are a lot of organs. There's a lot more blood out there, so I'm sure she can smell it and she's curious and she wants to have a bit of a bite. But I think Mama Shadow is now claiming all of the food. Are you gonna make your way? Look at all those tiny little spots at the back. She's being very cheeky. I'm sure she's just been like, Mom, I'm hungry. Of course she had to choose the one lug that covers all of her face. Just pretending to be invisible. I'm sure she's learned it from her mother already. Now we can see just how quickly the carcass is going down. Yeah, maybe Shadow will forget that she is there. Now there's not too much, as you can see. Now that she's finally opened it up, like we can tell that there's a lot of that was part of the stomach, a lot of the organs, but perhaps not that much meat. And like we said, everything is quite dry around here, so the food sources for all the animals are quite limited. So the animals are not, or the prey species are not as fat, I want to say, as they could potentially be, or not as healthy, not in good condition as they could normally be. So perhaps there's a little bit less meat here that they would find somewhere in other times of the day. Sorry, I'm just laughing because I'm just seeing the cub's face just staring in Shadow's direction. I'm so unimpressed with life right now. She's just like, Mom, honestly. Maybe she's heading into her teenage phase, where she just wants to eat. And we can see the sun is finally going down a little bit more. Or, well, starting to disappear behind the clouds. Beautiful setting, this one. This is a very typical sunset. James, you're saying the cub is already showing signs of holding her own because she's a feisty little thing. I agree. She even tried. Unfortunately, she's still a little bit too small, but I think she even tried grabbing that kill and tried to pull it away from Mom because she knew that Shadow was coming back for the kill. So she is definitely trying, which I think it's probably good for her and just shows that she's a very, first of all, very clever little thing, but also very, very strong in the way that she approaches things. So she's not afraid of Mom. It's like, oh, you want to growl? Fine, I'm going to try and take it away from you before you even have a chance. But she is definitely quite an interesting character. Lots of personality coming through those little spots over there hiding behind the tree. Now, I think Shadow means business because she has gone on to feeding again while the sun still shines in the distance. Oh, it is very beautiful. Almost looks like a jungle. Alright, but it seems like Shadow's still trying to get the carcass open. Woo! Look at that. If only Shadow could see it, Senso. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for being grateful for what we've just seen. Like, very nice to see, and I'm sure it puts everyone at ease to know that she's got a kill, and that she's eating, and that the cub is here, and that it's a good family reunion, and that everything seems to be going well for this particular leopard unit. She is definitely trying to get that open. From me or from Lou? I'm a bit confused about the handle. Alright, sorry. Louise was giving me a very strange update or a question, and she was like, question from me, from myself. And I'm like, is that a Twitter handle or is that actually Lou? So Lou is wondering if leopards will hunt bigger things or bigger prey when they've got cubs. Well, they will definitely try to make bigger kills. Like an impala is a very good thing to it, but it also depends on every single individual's limitations. So killing something like an impala or a bigger antelope than a steenbok is first prize, because they'll be able to feed off it for a lot longer and they can both have a very nice meal, and then she won't have to hunt again. But whereas she manages to do that every time she goes hunting, and that's a bit of a debate, because also they are quite opportunistic animals. So if they've got the opportunity to hunt 3 steenbok before they've got the opportunity to actually go and hunt an impala, likely they're going to go for the 3 steenbok because they're an easier kill, because they spend a lot of energy and a lot of time trying to bring every animal down. So I think in Shadow's case, like if she does manage, she will try to go for something larger, but if the opportunity for more smaller things or for smaller things is the one that is presented to her, then that's what she's going to take. I think that it's more of it's not a thought process as in like, you know, if I work a little bit harder but I'll bring an impala down, I'll be able to feed for longer. It's more as in like, what can I hunt or what can I try to approach that I'm going to be able to kill and then for eat. So I think that's more the train of thought for any of these particular predators. But obviously, the smaller the prey, the more often she's going to have to hunt. I do think, however, that she was on an impala kill recently. I remember seeing something on social media, because we follow, obviously, all of the Facebook and Instagrams and Twitters and everything of all the lodges around, just to be able to keep tabs on all the different animals and their movements and what they do and where they go. As they are pretty much the celebrities on our life out here in the bush. We all want to know what they're doing and just know that they're doing well and what's been happening with them. Seems like these beautiful girls are gonna still be here for a little while, but I would prefer to leave them before the sun goes down completely. So we're gonna say goodbye to these beautiful leopards and go over to Jamie in a rainy Mara.
I'm really thrilled to hear that Shadow's cub is doing so well, and of course Shadow is herself. We are having a fun time here. The rain is coming in fits and starts. At the moment, we've just got showered and then it stopped again, so we're able to show you just how stunning the sky looks. And also to show you what's coming our way. I can't really work out which direction this rain is coming from. It appears to be attacking us from every angle. That's south, but Brent tells me it's coming in from the north as well. It makes predicting things a bit hard. That's where we were, by the way. As you can see, it is now basically underwater. And that's going to make off-roading next to impossible. It is amazing. Oh, here it comes again. It's amazing just how quickly the soil becomes slippery sludge. And whilst it doesn't extend that deep, it really does become skid central. Unless you're very stupid and you drive through a big puddle and then you get stuck for 3 hours. But that was entirely my own fault. There you go. Balanites, rain, dark. I haven't quite worked out how we're going to use our infrared yet, because we can only keep one side partially open. Kestra Fox, let me listen. I can hear crickets. It's entirely possible that you were hearing frogs. We're not near a water source. Well, I mean, apart from, the fact that it's pouring with rain, but we're not near a water hole. There you go, we can have a look at our permit stickers briefly. I can't even see where the camera is. There it is. So essentially the frogs often call after the rain. I've heard lots of cassinas, lots of, what are they called? Painted reed frogs calling. So we do get really, really lovely frog noises out here. I'm not hearing any at the moment. I can only hear the crickets, but I could probably find us a place where we could hear frogs, provided this... Oh, Ferg, look out. It's dripping. No, don't drip in there. Drip that way. Oh dear. Okay. This is not how I was intending the afternoon to go. Our poor blue tarpaulin has failed us. It's got a little bit old and a little bit ragged. I think, Ferg. I don't know how you feel. No, we should be okay. Now you can't film anything outside. Yeah, I think we've pretty much
film the grass.
You can film the grass. Oh, you can actually, as long as the wind blows the water into us, you can film.
Oh no, seems like the gremlins live in the water. Too bad. I'm sure Jamie's going to be able to fight them off. Sounds like they've got quite the downpour down there. But I've put on my jersey. We have decided to leave Shadow and the cub to settle their their family disputes over dinner. But last we saw, Shadow had definitely moved on to feeding on some of the organs, so I'm sure she's going to be very happy. And we thought it was a perfect time to then maybe go and see the sticks and see what they've been up to. They were found earlier on this afternoon, but with the news of Shadow crossing to the property, well, it was such a good opportunity. We couldn't really let it pass because Shadow is very hard to find more often than not, and that's why she has a name for any new viewers around. Normally the animals will get a name or an ID that relates somewhat to their character or the area that they're in or a particular story from their youth, and Shadow is known as a Shadow because she's very hard to find, which I think makes her a very cool leopard because it just gives back this idea that leopards are very elusive creatures. And I can tell you, I did suffer when I wasn't here for a few weeks because I went to quite a few different reserves, and we get so spoiled here just to be able to see a leopard and her cub feeding just like that. I've been to places where I've just like been tracking and looking and there's nothing because the leopards are skittish and they don't like to be seen by vehicles, or you find one and it's just so far away. So it's actually Sabi Sand and Djuma is a wonderful place in that regard, that we get to see them and spend so much time with them and just learn about their behavior. It's something that you don't get in every other reserve, and I think it's one of the things that makes this particular area of the Greater Kruger such a special place, because I think it was a good reminder of, just for me at least, how special leopards are, just going on safari for so many weeks and just seeing no leopards whatsoever. The tracks were there, the dung was there, the sowing was there, but it was just pretty much impossible to find them. So I think it was a good reminder for me just to be able to appreciate it more. And then when I drove through the gate, all I wanted to do was just like face plant on the floor and just kiss the sands and be like, I'm so happy to be back. So yay. Now even more spoiled with beautiful Shadow. No, there's nothing here. Amika, you're wondering what my favorite animal here in Djuma is. I don't know. That's a very tough question, actually. I don't really know. Sorry, I'm just trying to focus because I haven't been here for a while, so I don't remember all the roads and I've got to think about them. I don't think I've chosen, I think the buffalo are probably the lower ranging ones in my appreciation, just because, I don't know, I don't find them the coolest ones. I'm sorry for the buffalo, but obviously all sorts of cats are very high, and elephants of course, and it's very tough to tell. I don't know, like the cats, the hyenas, and the wild dogs of course. I can see the vehicle. I'm just trying to find out where they're looking from, so we are in the spot where the lions have been found, so I haven't seen the sticks in quite a long time. I really want to see how they're doing, but it's just a very tight spot apparently, and I just want to see how we're going to be able to get in here so that we are able to see them. But perhaps, let's see if we can go around here. I don't know if we're going to be able to go through there, but let's try. Alright, so yes, like I was saying, I don't really know which one is my favorite. I don't have one individual in particular that is my favorite. I have a few at the moment, or some that I'm just like, you are very nice, very cool to watch. Alright, let's see if we can get through here, hopefully without getting the lions to eat me. I can see a white something. I'm sure that's a white something of a lion. I have also really missed this tiny little short-wheeled Land Rovers because they just get in everywhere. It's fantastic for the job that we do. I do see a lion already. Woohoo! Hello, lion. Hello, Sticks. Just hello, Cubby. All right, just gonna go very, very slowly here, as they are here. Oh, okay, tough one. Senzo, I think this could probably be the best spot for you for now, for everyone to have a look at what seems to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cubs and 1 adult lioness. They must have been so close to where we were driving, and we just missed them by an inch when we went off-roading earlier. Hello, beautiful lions. Good to see some of you grooming and moving and doing stuff. I wonder where the rest of them are, because the Sticks, if I'm not mistaken, it's 4 females. 3 females. I always get confused. You see, I haven't been here for a while, and now I need to remember all of them, which is wonderful. Like, it's the best study that I could potentially do. Oh, there's another head at the back that I hadn't seen earlier. Well, it's very nice to see you guys. I wonder where the other females are. I'm sure they're somewhere around here, just perhaps a little bit more towards the back. Hello. Ooh, stretchy, stretchy. Somebody's getting ready. Now, they do appear to have some mange, which is a type of mite that goes into their skin and just makes them have like all these calves and lose hair and so on. But I was actually expecting it to be a lot worse than what I'm seeing. So maybe this is not the individual that's the worst, but the fact that they are a lot bigger, it could be better for them just to be able to survive. And the fact that also combined that the rainy season is not too far from here, so once it starts raining, it's almost like they get a very good bath, and once they get a very good bath, then that also helps them all together. And for everyone that's just joining the channel or that is new, so it's not a deadly, in most cases, unless the infection gets very bad, it's not often a deadly situation for the lions, although we've had cubs in this particular pride die of mange last year. But it is a natural thing that occurs in this particular area, and this is the reason why the reserve chooses not to treat them or not to intervene. Also, I think from an ethical perspective, might just be, I don't know if ethical is the right word though, but just to be able to treat them, very likely all of them would have to be sedated and put under anesthesia just to be able to be treated. So I don't know if that would actually cause a little bit more stress to them. So I am hoping, I'm sending all my positive vibes that they're going to be doing a little bit better. I actually don't think that they look all that bad. Obviously they could look a little bit healthier, but I think there is quite a bit of hope. I think this female has just moved off to the back where potentially the other females are. So I just want to try and see if I can squeeze through here. What is this? Oh, it's a stump. Let's try not to get a flat tire. Hello, pretty lion cubs. They are looking very big from the last time I saw you guys. You were still balls of fluff. And now you're becoming little lions. Just like little leopard. Alrighty. Kate, you said that you didn't realize that the Sticks had so many cubs, that you thought they only had 3. Well, I think it's because their last litter was 3, so the smaller ones were 3, so I think those ones were the ones that maybe you thought were in, but they had previous cubs from previous litter that are still around, and then you can see just how much bigger they are in comparison to the other ones. Hello, little lion cub. Now, the mothers are somewhere behind. I think they've actually carried on walking, if I'm not mistaken, because I can't see them from here anymore. I do hope that you guys are going to be fine. Because you can see the different lesions, the scabs that it's forming in its skin and everywhere else. And unfortunately, the unfortunate thing about mites is that they're highly contagious. So all they have to do is rub against each other, and like they'll give mites from one another, from the cubs to the mother, from the mothers to the cubs. And then it's also it's a type of parasites that's able to survive on its own out there in the bush, and it will go from one species of animal to another one. So it can jump from an impala to a lion, from a lion to a leopard, just by being roughly in the same area. Now, I'm pretty sure the rain we had the other day helped you guys, and we are all hoping that you are going to be fine, because you are a lot older than what I thought, which is also good. Donna, can lions outgrow mange, you ask? A lot of them do. So this is the thing. I was actually reading a very interesting study about mange today, because always curious about why it seems to affect this particular pride, or why does it affect certain animals, why do some animals recuperate from it. And it's funny because a lot of research has been put into it, but nobody's actually 100% sure. So it's a constant debate as to why mange affects certain creatures, why it affects only certain individuals and not everybody else, and so on. So in a lot of the cases, because it's a mite that starts attacking their immune system, if they are older, like these cubs are now, that they are much older than when we first saw the sticks with mange, I think it was last year, that they were smaller cubs and under a lot more stress, I would say. You see this? There's one that's looking actually very stunning. So if they have enough of a response from their immune system towards the mites, they can actually pretty much repel them and outgrow them, and just have it in lower quantities where it won't affect the general condition of the creature. However, if they are under a lot of stress, and it's particularly visible, I was reading in the study, it's particularly visible in cubs because they are at the lower hierarchy, if I can put it that way, of the social structure. So they'll have more stress in terms of like social relationships, or they'll perhaps feed a little bit less, and so on and so on. So they can just fight it off themselves, and often they do. A lot of creatures often do it, but if there's a certain set of conditions that will add onto their stress, be it dietary stress, being social stress, or any other particular type of stress that the animal might be experiencing, then that becomes harmful to them, and it can lead onto a whole different things. Alright, where are you guys going? Seems like our lions are heading onto the darkness, and Jamie is also driving in the darkness. So I'm going to actually try and reposition, see if we can find them from a different point of view, and hopefully have another look. And while we do that, let's see if we can find Jamie.
You know, I have to tell you, I think I know who the culprit is for this afternoon's weather. And I think she even admitted to it a little bit earlier. So at the start of drive, I asked Alice, who is directing us from Mara this afternoon. Obviously, the Juma team is directing, and Alice is in Mara, keeping them informed of what's going on with us. But I asked Alice if she had any song recommendations for our drive down to the gate. And she suggested Here Comes the Sun. Now, I thought that was a very good suggestion at the time, and I really enjoyed it. And then I think it somehow angered the weather gods, because this has been the opposite of Here Comes the Sun. But what we're doing is we're making a break for it. We're trying to get a little bit closer to home while the rain's let up, but it's starting to rumble with thunder, and I think this is going to be the weather for the rest of the afternoon. Our covers are now in outright rebellion. They're flying all over the place. The wind is picking up. Fortunately, we've got bungee cords holding everything in place, which, as we know from experience, is not in any way dangerous. Not at all. Fergie, ready to duck at the slightest need. Because that one will fly towards you. I think these two will go outwards. Not sure about the one in the middle. We'll find out. Depends which side breaks, I suppose. I got a windscreen, so I should be alright. Oh, goodness. Or the alternative is we might just take off. It could happen. You know what I have noticed, though? So while we drive along, what's going on there? Zebra running in front of me. What I have noticed is that typically when we're driving along, our roof goes flap, 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 flap. And this whole setup seems to have stopped that process. So I'm actually quite happy because the flap, 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 flap was driving me nuts. Oh boy. You know, if we directed these covers properly, I'm pretty sure we could sail home. Fergus agrees. Or we could sort of Mary Poppins ourselves to the top of the hill. Oh, Lana. The question on everybody's minds, probably not everybody, but Ilana is one of our regular viewers and she wants to know if I've seen an aardvark in the Mara. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think the only person who's seen an aardvark in the Mara is Brent. I, of course, will be the last person to see an aardvark because I've got some kind of aardvark, I don't know what you'd call it. I don't think there's such a thing as an aardvark curse, but I feel as though I have one. I have not seen an aardvark. I have actually never seen, confession, I've never seen an aardvark in my entire life. I don't know how. I've worked in places that are world famous for aardvark sightings. I have been with scientists on an aardvark capture. Yet somehow, obviously the aardvark capture failed. Somehow I'm not lucky. And I would say, Ilana, tonight is probably the least likely night for me to see one, unless it somehow magically appears in the middle of the road, which I really hope it doesn't do. My field of vision is quite limited, hence the very slow movement. Imagine if we did see an aardvark now. It would be absolutely classic. Those moments occasionally happen on Safari Live. Every now and again. You never know. The thing is, I can't really spotlight, can I? Because stick the spotlight out the side. Oh, that's actually genius. Don't worry, Ferg. You can't operate a camera and a spotlight. I'm multi-talented. Oh, drip. Oh, thank you very much, Proud Cat Mama. This is a kukoi that I got in Diani Beach. So Proud Cat Mama's saying that she likes the scarf that I'm wearing. It's a kukoi that I got in Diani, and I have to tell you, because you know what Brent is like with his bright coloured kukois and shukas, I have to tell you that it has been quite jealously guarded to stop him from stealing it. And he's got one very similar, and he keeps thinking that I'm stolen his, and I know this is mine. I mean, even more inconveniently, I've got a blue one that Jerry and I both went off and we both bought exactly the same one. So we have to be cautious. Please let there be something on the left, because that's all the spotlighting I can do. I could probably, no wait, okay, stand by. Stand by. I could probably, oh goodness, there goes the spotlight. No, I can't. Yes, I can. Maybe. Oh. Okay. Now we've got a field of view, sort of. Now I don't have a windscreen. Okay. How's the flare there? It's okay. Considering the options available to us, I think we're doing pretty well. I think we're surviving this. Find us something, Ferg. In the darkness. Find us an aardvark. Okay, I'm gonna continue to search for the aardvark. I'm gonna get Ferg to help me. Let's go back across to Ali, who's managed to stick with her lions.
Jamie, you're so funny. Yes, we have managed to find the sticks, or stick with the sticks through the sticks. Haha, how's that? Didn't see that one coming, did you, Lou? So they are busy heading slowly towards Treehouse Dam, and apparently there's been a leopard found at Treehouse Dam. So it's a young male leopard, so I'm thinking either Hosanna or Tamba. I'm more inclined to say Hosanna because apparently his tracks were somewhere around that area this morning, or around Twin Dams, and I'm sure he saw me drive past. Little cheeky leopard. But like I said, the lions are still quite far away, so I'm sure there's just a bit of anticipation in the air, but maybe the lions will go somewhere else, and then of course we'll keep everyone updated as to what happens. Now I want to stick with the sticks with the lions just to see what they do or where they go, and just to be able to have a bit of an idea, because also we haven't spent too much time with them, and it's also nice to see them. Tristan tells me all this, what I think are legends, about how when he used to work at Cheetah, the sticks were the dominant part of lions on Juma and not the Nkuhumas. And I always laugh because I said to him, I have never ever seen them on Juma. I'm not too sure what you're saying. And look at them today, they're pretty much in the middle of Juma. Now, where are you girls going, and why are you going that way? Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna have to go around because it seems like now they're heading north. So I sort of just want them to carry on that way so that they don't even go to that young leopard or to Shadow and the cub. Where are you girls going? Alright, we are heading onto the road once more. Watch out here. Sorry, Senzo. Yeah, hello cubbies. On the road. I think the cubs are not in the mood to start moving around because the two of them have just laid down, and I see one of the females is carried on going, or she seems to want to carry on going east, or at least two of them actually, now that I can see them properly. And the cubs are trailing very lazily behind. Oh, hello beautiful girl. Are you done now? They do seem to be in a bit of a mission and moving. And of course, as soon as I say that, they all lay down and pretend that this has never happened. They are looking in that direction, so I wonder if whatever it is that Shadow is listening or she could hear earlier, it's not the same as to what they are, because whatever it was, it's now, or in between. They're still quite far away from each other, but they're still in between all of them. Now we've got all the cubs here, and they're also attentively listening to what might be lurking in that particular area. Didn't we pass a big herd of impala earlier? Also, I think that's maybe what they're after. There was a massive herd of impala not too far from here. And there were, of course, the giraffe that we saw earlier on. So I wonder if they're not looking for something like that too, because they've also got cubs of their own that they have to feed. And I do think that this lion cubs eat a lot more than Shadow's cub, because they are probably already double her size, and there are about 5 of them. 5? I've counted 5 or 6. Hello, pretty cubs. Seems like they're still quite lazy. I think probably they didn't have such a nice nap as they normally do. And because they've moved throughout the day, it's just like, oh, now we have to get going and we have to move and we're tired. Hello, little one. Although, judging by that belly, it seems like you guys have eaten something. So it's not like you guys have been starving or anything. Very pretty boy. Karsten from Denmark, you're wondering how good a lion's eyesight is at night. Well, it's a lot better than ours, and they can pick up a lot more detail than what we do in a lot of movement. They have a bit of a different eye structure to what we do, and I would say our eyesight is more comparable to the one of the antelope and the species that move around during the day. And lions and leopards and hyenas and some other creatures, they've got at the back of their eye, they've got a second layer, if I can call it that. That's called the tapetum lucidum, and that acts as a reflective layer to pass light a second time through the retina from low light conditions. So actually, it is believed that, or according to a lot of scientific studies, that this is a perfect time for lions and leopards to go out hunting, because our eyes still haven't adjusted to nighttime, but there's a little bit of light still, whereas they can already see a lot better than us. So, yes, come our way. Woohoo! Let's go for a drink. Let's all meet at Treehouse Dam. Look at that pretty cub playing around. Are you coming this way? It's quite intimidating having a fully grown female lion coming our way. Are you coming? It is wonderful having them walk so close to us. Now I can see Treehouse Dam from here, and I think this is exactly where they're going. So if we do get them all drinking from the pan, I think, you know, and Senso, you and I are going to have a drink to join them, because how amazing would that be to have Shadow and the cub, and then the Sticks and their cubs all drinking from Treehouse Dam. Wonderful. It's amazing because now, oh, hello, yawning lady. Now they mean business. They were tired, and then all of a sudden, what I believe is probably the most dominant female, she's gotten up and she's headed off and she's gone to the water. Now I'm gonna wait for them to pass us, because it is a very thrilling experience having them so close to us, but I'm very happy that I'm not on foot, because I would be terrified right now if that were the case. To then reverse and go to the dam, because I'm sure they're gonna go for a drink, because they're heading straight in that direction. Now we've got the last renegade cub, probably the one, or one of the ones with the biggest personality, and they're heading onto the dam. Hello, cub. Alright, so he's gone off, and now I'm going to have to change our position from here so that we follow them. Now I just want to give Herbie an update. Herbie, are you still with that Madonna Ingwe? Yeah, the Ngala, you should see them in the next minute or so. Alright. Okay, copy. The Ngala are pretty much there. Alright, so it seems like there is a leopard on the dam wall, so hopefully we're gonna, tense situation here. We're obviously gonna give everyone a lot of space, and we are still far away from where the leopard is. Alright, I'm gonna wait for them to go a little bit away. I don't think Herbie's got an ID just yet on that particular leopard, but hopefully if we do see it from where we are, we'll try to zoom in and just have a bit of an idea. There's quite a distance still between the two of them, so I think whoever it is would probably have enough of a chance to see the lions approaching, and more than that, I think the lions are just interested in going down for a drink. So I can't see it from here. Okay. Alright. Okay, the update from Herbie is that the leopard, whoever it was, has seen the lions and has just gone running onto the drainage line, has carried on running east away from them, which is good, because we don't want them to meet. I suppose we don't, because that would be quite stressful, but just have a look at this view. Ooh. Come on, lions! Oh my god, this is such a beautiful sight of all of them drinking. Okay, we have switched onto infrared in case you were wondering why everything is looking of a particular color, but how is that for a view? Ah, this is gorgeous. Tristan's gonna be so jealous. This is incredible. What a pretty view of all of them together drinking. Woo! I'm actually gonna try and shut up, see if perhaps you guys can hear them drinking. Ooh, I already cannot wait to see all the screenshots and send them over to my family and be like, haha, I hope you guys enjoyed Monday. Look at all those tiny faces. Well, Treehouse Dam has certainly been the place to be today. Everyone's been coming around here for a drink, and then of course, because the conditions are getting a little bit worse for all of the animals around, there's not so much water readily available for everyone. They are all confined to the same areas for certain resources, in this case water in particular. So between here and, well, Twin Dams, I would suppose it's the closest one, but from here to Buffelshoek Dam there's not really water anymore, and from here to probably the One-Eyed Pan or one of the bigger pans in Arethusa there's also no water. Oh, you can hear them now. How cool is the sound of all of these lions drinking? What a sight. There's always one that's gotta be the strong, independent woman that's just away from the rest of the crowd. I think likely she was the thirstiest one, and she just got into this corner and she was like, ah, yes, water, thank you. I am actually quite surprised to see that Treehouse Dam still holds a little bit of water, but obviously spectacular for us because then we've got them all drinking. Lucian, you're saying that they are so thirsty. Yes, I completely agree. They've been drinking, although it's not uncommon for cats to come to the water and drink as much as they have in one go. However, I think it's also they just haven't had a drink in the whole day, and it was very hot at one point, especially around midday, so I doubt that they came for a drink. Likely they just moved a little bit, they've been holding their thirst, and now they've come all the way down here and they've carried on drinking. It'll be interesting to see where these guys go now. I don't think they're gonna go in the direction of where that leopard ran off to, hopefully not. And then they will all carry on and do their own thing. Three little ones that are very, very thirsty. I think this is probably one of my best lion drinking sightings ever. I don't think we can complain at all. And now, of course, in a long lion line they go. The reflection of the water. I wish we could like turn the screen upside down or your camera upside down and then, you know, just make the whole world different. Oh, seems like one of the girls has decided this is it. No more. I'm so tired. I haven't slept 18 hours yet. And funny enough, we didn't see a lot of creatures around here when we were driving this afternoon, because we've mostly been around the same area the whole afternoon, and we just saw that giraffe, and we didn't see really many impala, no kuru, not too many animals. So look at that pile of lions. So I wonder if they're going to carry on looking for food, or if they're perhaps going to carry on into the Malawati. That is wonderful, all of them together. How amazing is this? We've had a leopard and her cub come straight here, and then we have now the pride of lions, all of them together here. It just proves that waterholes are popular places, and we could have very easily missed it. Now I wonder where are you going? I can't see from here where they are going, so I'm gonna go around the other side. I think maybe some of them are also lying down again. So we're just gonna try and reposition and hopefully find another wonderful spot. Alright, let me try and get ourselves out of here. Rishi, you're wondering at what age will the cubs join the hunt? Well, like, they're still a bit too young. Normally when they're about a year old or so, they start joining, but they join as spectators, but they don't actively join, because when they start accompanying, they first have to learn how to hunt as a group, as a pride. Obviously, like leopard cubs do, they have the instinct and they know how to do certain things just by instinct, but because they all hunt together, then it takes a little bit of practice. So when they're about a year to 2 years old, then they start learning how to hunt with the rest of the pride, but they will just start as spectators. And often, because they get so excited once they do start participating on the hunts, they normally tend to ruin the hunts for the rest of the pride, and you see the females get very angry and they start growling. But I would say between a year and a half, 2 years, that's when you actually will see them start actively participating in the hunts. But from this age, I'm sure they're already, if the hunts occur not too far from where the mothers are, I'm sure they already are left in a spot where they know not to move any forward, and then they stay there, and then the mothers go and carry on. Now I've got some lions in front of us, and they've gone down to this drainage line. So seems like they're just busy walking around. So let's see. I just want to quickly use the spotlight and see, because I can see them here. Oh, hello lions! And up they go, and they've carried on. So I wonder if they're actually not gonna go all the way to, because I see another lioness there actually. I wonder if they're gonna carry on going to Twin Dams. It seems to be their tracks came from there, funny enough. We had their tracks going south not too far from here on that crossing, so I wonder if they're gonna go onto the general direction and carry on moving there. We've got the little renegade here at the back that doesn't want to carry on moving. And now you've realized that you've been left behind, and then you're running home. Alright, let's carry on and see where they go. Okay, it seems like it's just us on our own. It's quite an... I think we can get away with trying to follow them on the road, because there's a big game path that they're following. Okay, I'm gonna try to... Sorry, I just want to try and find out from Herbie. Ah, they're all on the road now, all up ahead of us. Herbie, sorry, did you have an ID on that Ingwe from before? Okay, Gabi, do you know if it was Hosanna? Okay, Gabi, thank you. So yes, according to Herbie, it was Hosanna that saw the lions coming, and then he ran onto safety. So hopefully he is safe somewhere, because I think the sticks have changed the way that they're going, and it seems like they're going to cut across, and we're not too far from the boundary, so I wonder if they're going to carry on and maybe do another big loop around and then come back again so we can see them again tomorrow. Here, that's my wishful thinking. And you see, it's quite interesting where they are walking. They are just following a game path. Beautiful. I'm gonna follow these tiny little lion cubs and mothers for a little while longer, just to see what they get up to and when they do. But I believe Jamie is playing with costumes, and she wants to be a giant flapping thing, perhaps a very scary one. So let's go see what she looks like.
Oh, as the lions move off, the rain has moved off as well, but the wind has well and truly settled in. And I tried to get closer to show you some zebra, and I think they must have thought we were some kind of nightmare creature, because they dashed off. And animals are nervous in the wind regardless, so they dashed off into the darkness. And, well, There's not much we can do about it now. Rain's coming back again. I could see more on the way through the darkness. So we're just going to we'll wait it out. We'll wait it out with our flapping monster rain covers. It's actually quite funny in its own way. Definitely entertaining.
Yeah.
Chilly, but entertaining. Alright, let me see if I can find you something else along the way. I can see more animals up ahead, but I'm hesitant to try and approach them because I think they're just going to run away. The good thing about the wind is that it's going to dry the rain covers out properly, because they were kind of a bit drippy. But now they seem to have been air dried. Here's the zebras up ahead. Maybe. I'm going to try and do this in a way that Ferg can aim the infrared light. Kate, you want to know if we're watching the invention of a new flying machine? Kate, that is actually what we're experimenting with. You've discovered our secret. Our plan eventually is to be able to bring you a combination of flying safari vehicle-based safaris. Flying vehicle. You get the idea. So essentially what that will mean is when we get to the Mara River and we see there's a crossing and they all go to the other side, then what we do is we deploy the covers and we wait for a suitable gust of wind to take us across the Mara River, and then we follow on, we land and we follow on from there. It is in its initial development stages. The other reason that we're experimenting with this is that it will cut down dramatically on our time to and from our camp, which of course leads to increased production value because we'll spend more time down here. So basically what we're doing is we're building a ramp. We're building a ramp outside Final Control. I don't know what I'm talking about. We're building a ramp outside Final Control. We have to fly off and then we just coast down slowly onto the valley floor. That's the idea anyway. That is all utter nonsense. Please don't take me seriously. We are not. I assume you all know that. Riti's more serious question on a more serious, well, serious-ish note. The animals manage just fine in the rain. We would manage fine as well. We'd be a little bit chilly, but we're essentially waterproof. But unfortunately, our equipment is not. And so the animals, basically what they'll try and do is some of them will try and shelter. Most of them will just stand out in the rain and look a little bit miserable. And for the predators, it's actually great hunting weather, especially wind like this, because it makes it really easy to sneak up on something. And I would almost guarantee that when we arrive back tomorrow, the Angamas will have killed something somewhere. It just increases their success rate so much more. So the lions enjoy it-ish. I mean, sometimes they look a bit miserable, but essentially they go and stand in the rain. I have been thoroughly unlucky this afternoon. I haven't managed to find you anything, and we've nearly blown away. But Taylor's been successful once again, and she's found you an animal that would love this weather.
Yes, I think our friend, he's not a lady, is enjoying this weather. He walks the same route all the time. It's actually fascinating. I wonder if he has worn himself a pathway. We'll have to have a look in the morning to see if we can see a prominent hippo path on the eastern side of the Lugga going back towards the main road. That's where we saw him in the morning. I think I've seen him almost every single morning. I just haven't put him on camera every time. But off he goes on an adventure, looking for grass, hoping to not be harassed by lions. But hopefully the lions will have the buffalo and zebra to keep them entertained throughout the night. We lost our lions. Our lions disappeared, I think, too far off-road and in the center of this massive open plain because, oh, there's a second hippopotamus. Scandalous. Where are they? I don't even know where you're looking anymore. Yo, wow, they went around quite quickly. There's 2 hippos now. That's exciting. Looks like that one over there does not look very happy, giving his mate a death stare. Maybe they're not friends at all. That's quite interesting. So one's come from the escarpment coming down this way, and the other's has come from the lugger and going towards the escarpment. Because we catch that other hippo coming back to the water every single day. That's quite cool. And then they go. So they won't be too bothered by this weather. You might also hear some wonderful sound of Velcro. That is my roof. Oh, where did they go? They're all moving away now. Oh, maybe you've set a safe pathway for hippo? I suppose. I think any pathway for a hippopotamus is relatively safe. There's very few things that will try and take them on. Don't put too much light on him. The hippo is exceptionally far away, so it's not really feeling too much of this beam. It's probably just because it's a little bit brighter, and was just having a scan, wondering, what on earth is going on? And now this hippo seems to have relaxed slightly. It was very graceful going through that little dip there. Looks like there's a couple of bats and things flying around too. But not eating just yet, trying to find the perfect spot. Now, Riti, speaking of, well, their feeding habits, you're wondering if they only eat at night. No, they don't. They eat all the time, whenever they want to eat. So sometimes they feel, it's not too hot today. You know what? I'm going to have a little swim after, not a little swim, but a little lounge around in the water after a long night out. And then, at 10 o'clock, I'm going to get up and I'm going to have a snack and I'm going to graze along the banks of the river. And the reason they are able to feed during the day is because they don't have to travel far away from water during the heat of the day. They've got lovely, lush green banks filled with all sorts of delicious grass growing right on their doorstep. So they can literally just take 2 steps out of the water and stand and graze for half an hour, come back in when they feel as though they're getting a bit too warm. And they'll just do that. So we used to see it a lot in Zambia. We see it a lot here in Kenya too. It just doesn't seem to be too common in South Africa. I suppose because there's no big river systems or there's not too much water around at the moment. However, Ali has got something that would like to try and take a hippopotamus down, but would probably find it quite difficult.
Yes, well, pride of lions against a hippo, Taylor, I reckon that would be quite something. So we are still following the sticks and they are still busy moving in this area, but I know the road's not far, so I'm actually trying to get out of this area so that I can follow them on the road, because they have dragged us, of course, through an area that's a bit thick in some spots. So, woo, hopefully I'll be able to find a way out. Yeah, I think that if we go here, we'll be able to, and I can also keep an eye out on them, because I would love to have a nice view of all of them walking down the road towards us. And I'm not too sure if I have chosen the best path. So, because they are definitely following their own path. Amazing, look at this. Now I know when we're tracking that this is the road that I need to come and check out. Alright. I'm waiting for an opening onto this side, because they are, all of them, walking in a very gentle line, all of them in front of us. Whoop. I think Sensor's going to switch on the IR so that we can try and see them, because it's starting to be a bit dark. Okay, maybe that was a bit of a fail. Oh, there we go. I need to learn how to be more patient with the IR. Hello, pretty ones. And it's amazing because from where I stand with my own 2 eyes, I cannot see them. I have no idea where those lions are, but we see them almost bright as day with the IR, which is quite amazing. Alright, I think they are quite far from us, so we're gonna carry on, see if maybe we can have a view of them for the very last few seconds of drive. I think probably this is easier than having to carry the spotlight. But I don't know if... Oh my goodness. Maybe, guys, I'm going to abandon you for the road. Okay, I can almost see the road, and I'm gonna head onto the road, and hopefully in the last minute we'll be able to see them. Rashni, you say that the story of the lucky being continues with or without them. Hopefully Now the lucky beans just need to get me out of here with no flat tires. I am hoping that we're going to be able to have one last look at them. However, I think I might have misjudged the distance from the road to where the lions are. So the road is actually quite close now. But I just need to get out of here. But I am sure this is where the lions are going to be headed off. They are going to go onto the... Oh, sorry. Now I'm flashing people. Alright, well, if they're not going to go... The Ngala, they're going to pop on this road a little bit further. Alrighty. Let's see, hopefully for the last very few seconds of drive, we'll be able to spot them again and say goodnight to the beautiful lions. I see their eyes in the distance. I think they are just going to carry on moving through the bushes. I see all of their eyes. Hopefully, let me see. Alright. Seems like they're heading away. Perhaps it's the best way to end up the night with a bit of a mystery. And we'll see all of you again tomorrow. Thank you for a wonderful drive.